Youth baseball coaches will be showing that play for a decade. Cole.
The grabbing the ball out of the glove?
No, not that one. It's the one where Aaron Judge didn't use two hands, dropped a routine fly ball, and lost the World Series for the New York Yankees.
That really happened?
Yeah, that happened.
Oh.
An absolutely calamitous, I love that word, calamitous fifth inning for the New York Yankees cost them, well, maybe not the World Series. We'll never know. But it certainly cost them Game 5 of the World Series last night, Cole. How does a team captain drop a routine fly ball in the World Series?
Well, you would think that one of the best players on all of the planet would be able to perform and field a routine, as you said, ground ball. Fly ball. However, in that situation, I don't know if we learned last night that Aaron Judge and the rest of the Yankees, by the way, because their infielding last night was atrocious. I mean, leaving a guy, nobody on first. That the Aaron Judge drop was big. So to answer your question, I guess it proves that everyone, even Aaron Judge, is human. But, man, I had a problem with nobody being at first when they scored their first run. When the Dodgers scored, that's the out that could have ended the inning. And instead, the Dodgers had a big inning, and the Yankees blew it last night.
Yeah, it was just I mean, if you're a Yankees fan, it's like watching the Titanic go down. Like, it's going down. There's nothing you can do about it. It's so painful. This is what Red Sox fans have been feeling since 1986 when Bill Buckner let that ball go between his legs.
Yeah.
And then that game didn't cost. It was Game 6. It wasn't a elimination game, but it cost them the World Series.
It was atrocious.
And so, this play is going to go down in infamy, Cole. Infamy, how this is going to happen. Look, I'm going to be real. It was not the easiest pop-up in the world. I'm sure 12-year-olds who are just learning to play the game, they would struggle with a hit like that. It's more of a looping line drive to center field. Yeah. It was a little bit short. Aaron did reach for it a little bit. If he was going to play it safe, Cole, he could have let the ball bounce in front of him. Still wouldn't have put up any runs in that situation. But come on.
Yeah, it was bad, man. I'll be honest with you. Watching that game last night, I felt as if, and again, I don't have a dog in the fight. I wasn't pulling for either team. I didn't have any cheese on it either way. I felt as if the Yankees had that one in the bag. Like, we talked about it in Game 4, Diesel, the way they had their backs against the wall, and last night them coming out early in the game and setting the tone at home, getting the crowd in it. I mean, that game was signed, sealed, and delivered.
Wrapped up.
I mean, they absolutely blew it. Again, you do have to credit the Dodgers, but, man, it did not look like a team last night that was playing in the World Series with the mistakes they had. I don't know how on a routine, yes, you're right, on a routine ball like that, you've got to make that catch. But I don't know how this late in the season we're leaving first base empty. That, to me, is the bigger issue. Look, Judge dropped the ball. It shouldn't happen. He's Aaron Judge. He should have made the catch.
He's a team captain for crying out loud.
He is, and he's one of the highest paid players in baseball. However, I have a bigger issue with first base being left open and allowing that inning to go like it did. If you watch that game, what happened after first base was left open last night, that's what, in my opinion, that's what changed the entire game.
Yeah, just a gut-wrenching fifth inning for all Yankees fans watching it. Greenville is a metropolitan area. We got people moving down here all the time. Yeah. We got people from Ohio coming in. We got people from New York and Pennsylvania coming in. We got some who moved to Florida, decided it's too hot, and they moved halfway back.
So and we have listeners in New York.
That's right. Yes, we do. We have listeners in New York. I would love to get your thoughts. You Tolos, who watched the World Series game last night, what was the ultimate cause of how that went down? How did this go down in your mind? What was the bigger blunder? Was it nobody covering first base? Was it Aaron Judge just totally booting a routine pop fly? I mean, kids who shag fly balls in batting practice make that catch.
Yeah.
So I can't fathom this. I can hear my dad, who is my little league baseball coach, screaming at me right now to use two hands to catch the ball. Screaming at me. Use two hands. You've only been taught it your entire life, Aaron Judge. How did you suddenly forget in that moment? And again, I think he was charging in. Doesn't help that he's like 7'6", 300 pounds, slow to be playing center. Any other center fielder in the game makes that play.
Well,
but the fact is they put a giant out there in center field. You got to put him somewhere. I get it, but like, dude, put him in right field where he doesn't have to run that much.
Diesel, what really hurts, what really stings for the Yankees, that dropped ball. Them not covering first. But what really stings is you finally got the offensive production you were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
In Game 4, we all know what happened, but let's be real. It was against the bullpen for the Dodgers, against Walker Buehler last night. Your team hit. You called it. Aaron Judge went yard. He had 2 RBIs. Jazz Chisholm late in the game. It was fantastic. He played well. Look, as a team, top to bottom, they didn't go out there and crush it. Volpe played good again, as he always does, but it did not seem like in this World Series the Yankees got consistent enough play 1 through 9 to be a serious threat. They got enough, though, last night. They got enough in Game 4, and they won. They got enough last night, and they didn't win. And that's one of the losses that you're okay having, and I don't know, April, May, because it's early in the year. Things like that happen. But the mistakes that they made last night, man, you cannot have 3 errors in Game 5 of the World Series, and that's what the New York Yankees had last night. It's very disappointing.
I am so disappointed in Aaron Judge as a player and Aaron Judge as a captain of the New York Yankees. You know why? Because I didn't see a damn bit of leadership out of him after that happened. Nothing. Aaron Judge had been in this terrified headspace for the first 4 games of that series. He couldn't hit the ball. He couldn't see the ball. He couldn't put barrel on the ball. And then he finally breaks free. He finally hits that homer, riding high. And then he makes a mistake and just disappears again. Just crawls into a hole.
Yeah.
All over again. Like, you're the team captain, man. Where are you in the dugout? Where are you, saying it's okay, guys, we're going to go get him?
He's
whatever. All your leadership, right?
Yeah, very nonchalant.
How do they put a C on your chest if you don't know how to lead?
Texter says, I would say whichever error happened first started the downslide. I can't recall which it was, but I predicted them going back to L.A. after the second inning. Let's see. Yeah, that was the end of the text. After the second inning, Texter says, JD gets his upset pick in, by the way. Duke plus 20. Texter says, Diesel needs a haircut. That comes from the 854. Diesel, do you want to explain your hair situation right now? I would agree with the Texter. You do need a haircut. It's getting long there, buddy.
Look, I've got a happy little hairdo.
It's getting long.
I've got my paintbrush.
Yeah.
I could go paint some happy little trees and some happy little rivers.
Am I supposed to call you Bob today and not
clouds.
Diesel?
If you want to. If you want, whatever you want to do, man, it's Halloween. Where's your costume today?
I'm not a Halloween guy. I didn't even think about it, to be quite honest with you. I ran home, changed clothes. I had on khaki pants and a work shirt earlier, and ran home and changed, and did not get to go with a Halloween today. I know you, Rob, and Lonzo did, so I'm on the outside looking in. Texter says,
disappointed in you.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. Corn Chip says covering first. That would have ended the inning with no run scored. Corn Chip, I'm with you. That was brutal, man. That was absolutely brutal. Texter says it started unraveling after Aaron Judge missed the catch. Let's see. Any more? I think. Oh, the third base error, the first base assignment. Heck, the pitcher was another piece of the text there. Let me get to Ty Duncan. He got his.
Well, I'd be careful on putting blame on Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole was mowing him down.
I don't think it was 100%.
Garrett Cole pitched a hell of a baseball game.
Yeah. Texter says Dodgers had chemistry as a team. Yankees did not. I agree with that. Texter says it was Garrett Cole's fault for not covering first. It should have been inning over and still 5-0. That comes from Tolo Phil. Tolo Phil, I'm with you. I mean, I'm watching it, man. When I watched that play and there was nobody there. I could not believe it. And you're right. It was Garrett Cole's responsibility. He pitched a great game, but obviously he would like to have that one back because he was supposed to be there. I don't know why in the world he wasn't, Diesel. Sheezy says, to make it even crazier, that was Judge's first error of the season.
Wow.
What a time to have your first error of the season when it matters the most.
Look, is Cole, can you put the thing in queue so I can play some audio over there? I'm pretty sure this was Aaron Boone in the locker room right after that inning finally came to a close.
You done messed up, A-Aron.
Oh, was that live audio? A-Aron?
You done messed up, A-Aron.
Well, he's not wrong, A-Aron. Look, man, look. It was a bad performance last night defensively. I was not overly excited about the World Series as a whole after it started. After that game one, like the game one walk-off was riveting. Watching that in person was an absolute awesome experience. But after that walk-off from Freddie Freeman, man, I never really got excited about the World Series again. I watched all the games, but there was nothing that really did it for me after that. The Dodgers dominated when they had a starting pitcher out there. The bullpen game, yeah, the Yankees got to win. But Diesel, when you look at the totality of it, it's pretty underwhelming that you make it to the World Series and you cannot win a game against the starting pitcher. That's the reality. You won a game against their bullpen, and when they had a starter out there, you couldn't win. The first two games, you choked. You know, Freddie had a lot to do with that. Last night, you choked. I just was not impressed with the Yankees. Now, on the flip side, the Dodgers were super, super impressive. They were fantastic. But there was nothing, Diesel, from New York in this World Series that I came away impressed with.
No, and you're right. You mentioned team chemistry there. There's none. I mean, you got Jorge Soler already. Not Jorge Soler. Juan Soto already saying, yeah, I'm open for whatever team wants to trade for me.
Peace.
No, like, hey, this is my team. This is where I want to be. We have unfinished business. I'm coming back. None of that stuff. He's already saying, you know what? I'm willing to go wherever somebody's going to pay me.
In which
case, yeah.
Bring him to Atlanta.
Atlanta, because they just traded right fielder Jorge Soler today.
I'm telling you, let's do it.
I mean, you got a big old hole right there. You need 3 outfielders right now. You only got 2. I'm just saying they need a big-time power hitter on this lineup. They need a star on this lineup in Atlanta. It should be nice. And what have you been doing all this lowballing and budgeting your contracts for, if not to have it available in a situation like this?
Hey, how about this one, Braves fans? Not to change the subject here, but would you rather retain Max Fried or get Juan Soto? What would you rather? You can't have both. Would you rather get Max Fried back or get Juan Soto? That's a tough conversation to be had, but I don't know that, sadly, the reality is I don't know that either will happen. I don't know. JD on the stream says, I texted in, Cole is dressed up as a sports radio talk host who doesn't know what he's talking about. Very funny, JD. You're a comedian. Madcraft says, I'm dressing up as all of you guys. Got my clown suit ready to roll. Man, Madcraft, you're hilarious as well. The jokes are top-notch today. JD says, Diesel is Napoleon Dynamite, LOL.
Gosh, I'm Bob Ross.
When you walked in, I thought you were Napoleon. That's when
when does Napoleon Dynamite
ever
wear?
I didn't see the paintbrush.
No, when does Napoleon Dynamite ever wear a collared denim shirt? Not once.
It's true.
Not once in the movie.
You're right. JD says
that's you showing your youth, man.
Well, that's true.
Like you didn't grow up and like take a day off from school because you were sick and let the 2 Bobs nurse you through a bad day.
Yeah.
Bob Barker on The Price is Right. I know for you it's Drew Carey and that's it.
No. I'm a Bob Barker.
You don't even know who Bob Barker is.
Oh gosh. He's probably better now dead than Baker was. God.
Drew Carey, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It was Bob Barker and Bob Ross. You're having a bad day, put on The Price is Right, put on The Joy of Painting, and it'll make you happy. I promise.
It was never the same though after he died.
No, of course not, because Drew Carey sucks.
Yeah.
Drew Carey's glasses aren't real. Mm-mm. They don't actually do anything.
Are yours real?
Yes, they are.
Oh,
yeah. Drew Carey doesn't actually need corrective lenses because he had LASIK.
So that's
years
not part
ago.
of your costume.
No. Well, Bob
is.
Ross wore glasses.
It is, but it's not.
Just not black rimmed glasses.
Yeah.
No, Drew Carey was in the Marine Corps, and so he started wearing the thick Marine Corps issued glasses, And then eventually he got LASIK surgery. He didn't need the glasses anymore, but they're now part of his brand.
You know what? I felt like last year's World Series was better than this year's. And again, I'm no Texas Rangers fan, but I don't know. I would not have guessed I would have said those words when these two teams met. I mean, it's the Dodgers and the Yankees. You would think, as Diesel's painting the screen, you would think that, Diesel, this would be the best World Series ever. I mean, we talked about it last Friday, how even these two teams were. And it was, again, it wasn't the worst World Series ever. I just felt like it was a little underwhelming. I wasn't on the edge of my seat during it. The Freddie Freeman, I mean, without the Freddie Freeman walk-off, this series is boring. But thank God for the Freddie Freeman walk-off. Thank God for the Freddie homers, 6 in a row by Freddie Freeman. That's never been done before. But other than those things, and of course he won MVP, who else would have, right? Other than those things, I was a little underwhelmed with the World Series.
I try not to get mad at things that I see on social media because, God, it makes people so miserable, right? Social media only exists to make people mad. But I saw a graphic that SportsCenter tweeted out immediately after the game, and it was an image of Shohei Ohtani sitting on top of the world. I'm like, what is Shohei Ohtani doing in this series? Nothing. He went 2 for 19 in this series. Didn't hit a home run in this series.
Not Freddie, though.
Stop with the Ohtani garbage. He sucked in this series. Make the graphic right. I didn't realize they probably made that graphic 2 weeks ago and took like 10 people to approve it. But make the graphic Freddie Freeman sitting on top of the world. He's the one who did this.
Texter from the 803 says, Cole, you're like a child that got the candy before dinner, and the dinner's just not any good after the Freddie Grand Slam. You're exactly right. You're exactly right, Texter. Once I got the candy, the dinner wasn't good because that was the best part of the World Series. I mean, that moment in itself, we talked about it on Monday. It was one of the coolest sports moments in a long time. It happened very late, and I know a lot of people didn't see it because of how late it happened on a Friday night, but it was one of the coolest sports moments. But Texter, to your point, that was the candy, and nothing after was any good. That's those two, that's those two teams' fault.
Speaking of candy, texters, Tolos, those of you watching on the stream, we're going to do a Halloween candy draft later on in the show. God. And I want you to be thinking about the crappiest candy to find in your plastic jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, everybody did have a plastic jack-o'-lantern.
Which one sucked? Like when you get them, you're like, nuts. Give them to the parents.
Yeah.
Give them to the little brother. You can have this one. I don't want it.
I've got a lot that suck. I'm not a big fan of a lot of candies. We'll get to that later because I know it's coming up, but that'd be fun. The Halloween candy draft. Yeah. I got to be thinking, what time is that?
We're going to do that at, I believe we have it lined up in the, when do we have it? Gosh, you asked me that question.
I know, I'm sorry.
I think we have it lined up in the 4:00 hour. Yeah, 4:20.
I've got to think about that. Now, am I getting to choose the options, or are you presenting me with options and I'm choosing?
we get to draft.
Okay.
So it's we'll do 10 rounds, 5 rounds apiece.
Yeah. Just don't take the good ones before I do, because
that's the whole point of the draft.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the draft.
I don't like candy drafts, man. Are you more of a sour candy guy or a chocolate candy guy?
Chocolate candy.
See, I'm the opposite.
All right.
I'm the opposite.
Well, then
the draft may be good.
Yeah, we should have a good draft.
We might have a good draft. Also, Diesel and I are hoping for a good upset picks weekend. Texters, before we run to a break, want to remind you, before Diesel tells you about Ingles Markets, want to remind you that the Upset Picks Challenge is open. We've got to catch up. We've got a lot of work to do if we're going to break the record. Yesterday, we were a few under, so we've really got to overcorrect. Today, we need your upset picks. We've already had several. 71307, your name, your game, and the spread on the game. Those spreads were locked in yesterday at 3 p.m. by our guy, DB. Get those upset picks in because tomorrow is the last day, and you never want to wait till the last minute to get them in. All right, coming up next, we yesterday pulled the curtain back and looked at South Carolina versus A&M. We do the same thing today with Clemson, Louisville. Yesterday in the 5 o'clock fight, we asked the question if Louisville could keep it close. We'll go deeper into the Cardinals and Tigers matchup on Saturday next. Numero 9, number 9, the 9th matchup. Diesel between the Tigers and the Cardinals. Clemson has dominated the matchup. However, Louisville trying to do its best to throw a wrench in things this weekend. We talked about it yesterday on the 5 o'clock fight. If somehow, some way, Louisville could present a threat to the Tigers, they are 10.5-point underdogs. Vegas thinks Diesel Clemson will win this game somewhere 34-29-ish based on their calculations. I'll tell you this, I know Louisville's a good team. I've watched them several times. Their offense is electric, but to start the conversation about Saturday's game between Clemson and Louisville, I don't know if Louisville has the defensive unit to keep up with the Tigers if this thing were to be a shootout on Saturday. I know we talked about it on the 5 o'clock fight, but how are we feeling about Saturday's game and the potential of Clemson finally playing a close game against an ACC opponent, Diesel?
Well, we're going to learn. I think we're going to learn a little bit more about Cade Klubnik this weekend. Obviously, he's been ripping teams a new one for a while now, all except for the Georgia game. They've been very impressive offensively all throughout the season. The question is, when they're playing a Louisville defense that's a little better than what they face, not fantastic, but they are playing a decent Louisville defense who are ranked, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, about 10 places down lower than Clemson are, giving up just about 10 yards a game more than Clemson are. Clemson averaging giving up 348 a game. Louisville averaging giving up 359 a game.
Yep.
Clemson, outside of Georgia, hasn't played a good defense all season long. So can they do it against a good defense? This is, it's weird to say now, here we are all the way into week 10, and you're finally playing your second difficult opponent of the season.
True, though.
I mean, Louisville, let's be real. Louisville is an average to lower end SEC opponent. If we were talking SEC, they'd be bottom third of the league. And so we have a chance to learn a little something about the Tigers.
We do, and I'll tell you this. I believe this game will be close in the first half. I do. I think Louisville's offense is good enough to keep it close for the first half. I just don't know when the second half gets here if they can continue to be enough to give the Tigers a game late. Clemson's won 2 against Louisville in the last 2 years, Diesel, where they have covered the spread in those last 2 games. In the last 2 contests, Clemson has put up 61 points while Louisville scored 40. And you mentioned some team stats. Cade Klubnik, he's had a fantastic year after the Georgia game. 1,836 yards, 66.7% completion rating, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 227 yards on the ground. Phil Maffa hasn't gotten to 1,000 yards yet, but 692 yards. Ja'Cory Brooks of Louisville's a really good wide receiver. They've got guys that can be a threat. I do like Tyler Shuck. I think he's a quarterback that can present problems. He's had a good season, 2,348 yards, 64.3 completion percentage, 20 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. So when you look at the matchup again, like between Shuck and Klubnik, Diesel, the numbers are very similar. 20 touchdowns for both quarterbacks, 5 interceptions for Shuck, 3 for Klubnik. So we might see, to your point, we might see a quarterback that's comparable to Cade Klubnik for the first time in a very long time since he played Carson Beck.
Yeah, and Madcraft brings up a good point. He says not only with defense, Louisville's offense will be the only one with the pulse that Clemson has faced. Upset alert. To that point, Madcraft, Louisville about 30 yards shy of where Clemson is on offense over the course of this season. Clemson's going to have to play really disciplined in the secondary if they want to try to shut Tyler Shuff down in this game. They're going to have some problems out there.
It's going to be interesting. I'll tell you this. Clemson's a team that if they don't beat themselves this season, they should roll their regular season opponents. And I don't know if you include South Carolina in that or not, but they're better than Louisville. We know that Louisville's a good team, but the numbers tell us, the Vegas numbers tell us that Clemson's the better team. I think they cover the spread this weekend. I really do. There is a slight majority of bettors that are giving the Cardinals an advantage, and some recent money has been on Louisville. They're getting 52% of the bets as of today to either win outright in an upset or to keep the score within the line, the spread of the game. The other 48% predicts Clemson to win and cover. But at the end of the day, Clemson's defense, we knew coming into the season it was a younger unit to an extent compared to some of their older units, Diesel. But I think Saturday, when you look at this matchup, you remember how when Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson played, there would be close games. There would close games against Louisville, Lamar Jackson, close games against Pitt, Syracuse. Clemson has had their scares. I don't think they have a scare on Saturday, but I do believe at some point in the second half, the defense makes a play or two that kind of gives Clemson the lead, kind of gives them a comfortable lead to where they can pretty much feel like, okay, we've got this game in the bag. I think Clemson's defense, as good as Cade Klubnik is, I think the Tigers' defense is what wins the game on Saturday.
Yeah, are we going to see Cade Klubnik play a full game? He hasn't played a full game since Georgia, week number 1.
Man,
are we going to see him have to go down the field and win a football game? Something we haven't seen him have to do
at
all season long. Now, you'd have to go back to last season to see how many come from behind victories they had or late fourth quarter touchdowns they had when the game was close. But it's not a scenario that he's been put in quite a while, Cole. And look, we all remember the decision to keep it and run the football yourself when you had a play designed for you. Like making bad decisions when the game is on the line was an issue for Cade Klubnik and Clemson last year. Now, and I'm sure they're working on those things in practice, but practice is not a game. Practice is practice.
To your point about Louisville, I'll tell you this. I do think this game will be close for, the first 2 quarters, maybe 2.5 quarters, Diesel. However, if Louisville's pass defense doesn't get better, right now they're squandering 222 yards a game away. They're the 74th in the country. They're 74th in the country when it comes to pass defense. The home loss that they had to SMU was horrible. On the flip side of the coin, if their secondary cannot even stand against Cade Klubnik and the receivers that Clemson has, who have been playing really well as of late, to your question about does Cade play the whole game, if Clemson gets going early like they did against App State, maybe he doesn't. Maybe I'm totally off. Maybe Louisville doesn't keep it close. And if they come out, it's a night game, right, in the Valley. If they come out like they did the last time they were at home at night when you and I were there against App State, and they come out guns a-blazing, trying to attack that Louisville secondary, maybe he doesn't play the whole game, and this thing is a blowout. And then we ask the same question that we've been asking. Was Louisville actually, did they actually present a challenge to Clemson, or is Clemson actually getting better? I don't know that Louisville's going to be the end-all, be-all in terms of grading how good Clemson is or how improved they are, Diesel, but I do believe it'll be a better litmus test in seeing where this Clemson offense is.
Well, we know that Cade Klubnik and this team need to be challenged, right? Because they haven't been challenged since week 1. They've rolled over everyone. So you got to know how you're going to respond. I mean, it's how many times do we see teams that are elite get into their first big game of the season and then all of a sudden fold? Happens to Miami most years. Sorry, Mad Craft, for taking a shot at you.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what happens with Miami most years. This Clemson team has not faced anyone since week number 1, and we're gonna need to figure out how they respond in situations where things aren't going their way. When Cade Klubnik has thrown a pick or 2 in a game, when Phil Maffa has fumbled the ball, when one of these young wide receivers puts the ball on the turf. Another big question, how healthy is Wesco?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's been out several times over the past few weeks. He's certainly had time to heal, but we don't know if he's 100% at this point.
If you were looking at this game, before we get to a call, if you were looking at this game to either bet on or taking the upset picks challenge, I'll give you some numbers that might sway you one way or the opposite. I know there are a couple of Tolos in the stream who are calling for the upset. Diesel, here's what the numbers say. Clemson has won 41 of its last 42 games against non-AP ranked teams at Clemson. Louisville has lost 24 of its last 29 against AP ranked teams. Louisville has also failed to cover the spread in 8 of its last 9 November games as a road dog. The favorite has covered the spread in each of the last 5 games between Clemson and Louisville. Again, that stat, the last one's the most glaring to me. In this series, the favorite has covered the spread in each of the last 5 games between Louisville and Clemson. So
interesting.
Numbers will tell you Clemson's going to cover the spread. That's what history tells you. We know that Clemson ranks first among FBS teams, Diesel, for average point differential in the first quarter of this season. A lot of that average has to do with the App State game because that's how averages are played. You know, that App State game, they scored, 8 million points in the first quarter. They ranked top 3rd among FBS team for quarter 1 opponents' points per game. So this team, based on what the numbers say, they should win the game, especially if they can continue to get off to a good start in the first quarter. I think they'll cover the spread. Let's see what Harold in Greenville has to say. 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. That's the way you can get in touch with the show. What's up, Harold?
Oh, I'm just glad baseball's over, which we shouldn't be talking about it no more.
Yeah, this might be the last time we talk about it until
I know.
May.
Listen, now I got a Friday night game on Fox I can watch, so I'm happy about that. But listen, I can tell you exactly how that thing unfolded. Judge missed the catch after that remarkable catch he made up against the wall. And then you had the shortstop. They bases 1 and 2. And then you had the shortstop to miss the throw at third base. That would have been 2 outs. Even 1 out. But even the one that the pitcher didn't cover first, that would have loaded the bases. You know, it wouldn't have been no runs scored in that. But that's the way the ending of that unfolded. Now, I want to get to you, Louisville.
Yeah.
Have you heard about the 2 top offensive linemen out for Louisville?
No, tell us.
Okay, I didn't know what to. I mean, I turned on Cohen down there in Columbia, you know, after y'all about 6:30, and he brought that up. Said the top 2 offensive linemen for Louisville's out. So I don't know how long they've been out, but that's going to put a listen. With that, Clemson's going to beat them. I mean, they make not beat the spread, but they ain't going to lose in Louisville. Their test is coming against Pittsburgh and Miami, and hopefully the Gamecocks. That's going to be the only 3 they're going to have to really consider about, having a loss to. And I'm going to get more on the Gamecocks tomorrow because I want to talk to you about that a little bit. But, and Mike Cole, before I forget it, I heard you broadcast Friday night against Spartanburg for the first time, and I want you to do me a big favor. Please give the yard line they own every time they start a play.
Every time. I'll do it for you.
Critiquing you live on the air, Cole.
I'll do it for you, Harold, every time, just for you, brother.
The reason I'm saying that because that's what gets me fed up with Todd Ellis. You never know where the ball's at. You have to use your math, to keep up with it.
So now I'm in the same conversation as Todd Ellis, right?
There you go.
Hey, there's worse places to be.
Cole, I love you, brother.
Appreciate you, Harold. Thanks, Harold. I love it.
And look, Harold's not wrong here. There's been a couple of key offensive players go down for Louisville.
2 offensive linemen.
I'm finding an offensive lineman, Monroe Mills, who went down back in October. He was listed at the time as being out indefinitely. There's been other offensive. Lance Robinson out for the 2024 season. That came at the beginning of August. Renato Brown out with a season-ending injury. Excuse me, that was last year. But yeah, there's some issues there on the offensive line for Louisville. It seemed to have hurt them a little bit last week. They didn't quite put up some explosive offensive numbers on the road at Boston College. Didn't hurt them much against Miami as far as protecting the quarterback and putting up yards and putting up points because they put up 45 on the Hurricanes in week number 8 there. So, I mean, Harold, there might be something to that.
Could be. All right, before we forget, I'm going to say Clemson wins. Diesel, do you think they cover the spread, though?
Spread on this game, 10.5. Yes, I do. I think Clemson covers the spread.
I do too.
Probably wins this game by 17.
I was thinking 14 to 17, so I'm with you.
Willing to go there. Cole, when we come back, I want you, who didn't wear a costume today, I did. I want all the Tolos. I want you to think back of all your years dressing up for Halloween. Have you ever dressed up as a sports figure? And what was your favorite Halloween costume, non-sports figure as well, that you ever donned? That's coming up next on the Fan Upstate. We got some Tolo on Tolo violence on the stream.
What happened?
We also have Cole without his mic on again.
Third time this week.
JD posts, I guess I shouldn't tell Madcraft I took Duke because I think it's time for Miami to lay an egg.
I don't see that happening.
That one's worth
man.
20 points, by the way. 20
Like,
points.
If you told me Miami would lay an egg at some point, I'd probably buy it. But against Duke, I'm not buying it.
Madcraft says, hell, I don't mind if you waste your pick this week.
Ooh,
there you go.
Good one. I like it.
Upset picks. We're taking yours at 71307. Give us your name, your game, and the spread. Don't forget, Cole. But this is Halloween. This is when you're supposed to dress up.
Halloween.
When you're supposed to inhabit the body and the mindset and the spirit of something else to go out and have some fun.
You didn't tell me to dress up today.
Why do I have to tell you everything? It's Halloween.
It's the one
You're
time
sending
of
me
the year.
screenshots of the Rob Brown show where they were dressed up as, I don't know, some sort of floopty-doos on their show.
What were they dressed up as?
I think Lonzo was the Undertaker. Rob, I don't know. I
thought Rob. I feel like Rob dresses up every day on the show.
Rob was wearing a cardigan or something like that. I think he was dressed up as a 45-year-old woman. I'm not sure.
Karen.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was dressed up as.
Let us know, Rob.
I think he was meant to be Luke Skywalker. And I think Lonzo was supposed to be.
Oh, he was going to say
the
like
Emperor.
Luke, I'm your father kind of deal.
I think so. So Rob just admitted that Lonzo is his daddy.
I was going to say, did that happen on air? Any Tolos that hurt? We need to pull that audio if it did. That'd be fascinating.
Yeah, but see, I dressed up, Cole. I'm in the spirit of things.
Okay? You are.
I'm trying.
I'll give you the win today.
I'm Bob Ross. Bob wore dark jeans. He wore a light denim shirt buttoned up. He always had it like. Actually, here, let me get more in the spirit of Bob Ross because he always had his shirt unbuttoned a little too far.
Here, let me mute the screen on the stream. Gosh, before we all get attacked.
I got the paintbrush. I got the wig. I got the beard.
Do you need a canvas, something to paint on?
I have one.
Well, if you had some paint, I'd give you something. But you don't have any paint, Bob.
Oh, sorry.
Come on.
I can't bring paint in here because in engineering would get on my ass.
Yeah, I would.
Can't do that. Cole, I don't know if you've seen this photo. Definitely worth a Google. Bill Belichick's 20-something-year-old girlfriend dressed up as Bill Belichick when he was a coach with the Giants.
Is it that good?
Yeah. Yeah, she's got the cutoff shirt, the T-shirt with the extra little cut right here in the middle. It's Bill's shirt. So I'm not making this up.
Of course it is, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me look here.
It's good, God. Right? It's good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I had a great idea. So maybe not here in the upstate of South Carolina, Cole, but I guarantee you in New York City, there were thousands and thousands of little kids who are going to dress up as Aaron Judge for Halloween.
Ugh.
The uniform, the number 99 jersey.
Why?
Here's how you do that this year, Cole, though. You tie a baseball to a string. It's like 6 inches long, and you tie that to the end of the baseball glove so that the ball is always dangling right in front of the glove.
Yeah.
So I didn't catch the ball.
That'd be good. It'd be very good. That'd be a good one. I don't think you'll see a lot of Judge around here, though, like you said. No,
but Colos, have you ever dressed up as a sports figure for Halloween? I know there's a classic Ditka costume. You know, you wear the sunglasses, you wear the headset, chew on some gum.
Yeah.
Fake mustache, Bears sweater. That's a good one. That's a good one. What is your sports Halloween costume that you've donned at some point in your life?
I'm sure I did at some point. I do remember having like a Clemson costume when I was really, really young. I just don't remember, obviously who the player was. I do remember being a Clemson football player, maybe once or twice for Halloween. Like I say, I just can't remember who it was. And then other than that, I'm trying to think, baseball or basketball wise, I don't know that I was. I think the Clemson football costume when I was young was the only one.
Yeah.
Sports wise.
I think I remember dressing up. I know once I dressed up as a Ninja Turtle. That's not sports.
That's a good one though.
Karate's not a sport. But I also remember dressing up as Hugo the Hornet. Oh. The Charlotte Hornets mascot. The original Hugo, not the modern Hugo.
The original's good.
Yeah, the original Hugo.
I liked one of my favorites was Woody. I dressed up as Woody.
Hayes?
No.
You just walk around punching people in the throat?
No, Diesel. Woody off of Toy Story.
Oh, you got to be more specific, okay?
I thought you.
Woody Allen, Woody Harrelson.
I didn't know where.
Woody Woodpecker.
I didn't know where your mind was going there. But no, Woody off of Toy Story. The boot, the sign, the signature on the bottom.
There's a snake in my boots.
Is there any? That's a pretty iconic one, Woody.
Mad Craft says he dressed up as Bear Bryant. He had the red sports coat,
that's a good one,
the houndstooth hat, and everything. Good job, JD. Oh, JD. Too soon. He says he dressed up as Michael Vick once. What'd you do? Walk around with a stick hitting dogs?
That's awful.
Come on, bro.
That's awful.
Come on, bro.
T-Swizzle says Peyton.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton. Oh, I'm sorry. Peyton Manning.
Well, if I had more forehead, if I just brought
if you had my forehead, you
if I
could
brought
do
the
it.
forehead all the way up here, now I'm Peyton Manning.
Now you know
Wow.
who you look like now? With that, when you did your hair back like that,
No.
you look like one of the two criminals off of Home Alone. What is it, Harry?
Oh, yeah.
Harry.
Harry.
Do that again. Do it again. You look just like Harry off of Oh, my God. You really do.
I like this better.
No.
I like this better.
You really do look like Harry off of Home Alone. I mean, identical. That's scary how close that is. I don't know why I just saw that, but my word. No.
Oh, JD says he drug a stuffed dog around on a leash for the whole night.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
I said
JD.
Harry. I apologize. Marv. Marv was the one with the wild hair.
Marv, yeah.
Harry was the one that wore the toboggan.
Yeah, that was God, I'm blanking on his name. Joe Pesci. It was Joe Pesci.
How freaking
Got
crazy.
his head caught on fire a couple times.
How similar is this right here? For those watching on the stream, look at that and then look at Diesel.
I love it.
Y'all look so
I need
identical,
to
man.
shave it here.
Hey, would that not be a good costume though? The iron marks on the
could
forehead.
do that. Oh my God, that's good.
That's a good idea.
I need to save that for next year.
Put the iron marks. You could paint them on the forehead.
Yeah,
because
I'm doing that next
year.
year.
You have the hair. You just need
I just need to trim this.
Did he have a trench coat or some kind of coat?
Not that kind of trench coat, but I could get a hold of one.
Oh, that'd be good.
Does it do any Tolos? A year from now, can I borrow your long, dark brown trench coat?
Has that ever been done? Anybody painting the iron on the
brilliant
forehead?
one.
That is a good one.
See, the best part is if you can get somebody else who's short and a little pudgy.
Oh, I can be Harry.
Yeah.
You can be Marv. I'm
Yeah.
short. I'm pudgy.
Harry and Marv.
Why didn't we think of that before today? You suck.
God.
Why didn't we do that, man? That would have been
I have
great.
seen people dress up as Harry and Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber with the bright orange and the bright blue leisure suits. I've seen that at bars before. And when two girls do it, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty hot.
They just women just don't wear anything at Halloween and get away with it. That's what they do.
That's true.
A lot of texts coming in. We'll get to those texts on the other side, as well as we'll get back into the upset picks conversation. Oh, my word. I have, for the first time all year, I have a lock. And my upset pick, I feel really good about it. We need yours. We'll dive back into the upset picks challenge next. Diesel, you know what time it is.
Game
It's
time.
time. You did it now. You did it. You did it.
Oh,
you did
no.
it. You did it. Yes. I'm not the only one today that forgot to turn the
God.
mic on.
I had just reached over and pushed the button with my hand without looking, but
Oh,
I hit
that's
the
great.
wrong button.
You hit the red button.
Dang
not the yellow. No.
I hit the yellow button, not the red button.
It's different on mine and yours.
Yeah,
I hit the red button. What
Oh.
button do you hit to turn the mic on?
red.
Oh, okay, never
It's
mind.
yellow to turn it off. See, off,
You
on,
just-
off, on.
this is
God.
getting off the rails here. Gonna catch up on a few texts from the Tolos in the last segment. Diesel, you asked the question about the favorite Halloween costume. Brandon Burnett says, once I was Ace Ventura when he had the pink Toto on calling football plays acting crazy.
That's
a good Let's see. Texter says only sports figure I dressed up as was Jeff Gordon back in the late 2000s.
Ooh.
Favorite was Ghostface. Brandon in Spartanburg says, once I dressed up as Barry Bonds, I put the largest watermelon I could find on my head. That's wrong. Texter, in the spirit of Halloween, I'd like to remind Cole that SMU had 6 turnovers and Duke had an easy field goal to win and didn't win. Go Mustangs from the 903. I don't know if that's our Tolo that listens from Texas or not, but it might be because he said go Mustangs. And to that response, I will never forget that. You'll never have to remind me again, Texter, because I'll never forget how Duke choked it away. So thanks for the reminder. That's tough, man. That one's going to sting.
Hey, let's be real, Cole. That one set up a beautiful weekend full of suckitude from all of our Tolos except for Gravy and Ruby Downs.
I know.
Because less than 1% of our Tolos got their pick correct. That's by far the lowest we've ever had.
So here's what we need from you, Tolos out there. During this segment, right here at 4 o'clock, while we're talking about upset picks, because we're going to move on. We're going to forget about you. We're going to move on to something different a little bit later in the show. However, it's very, very important that you Tolos help us out. Diesel, if you can pull up your sheet. I know that yesterday we did not have the same number of upset picks as we did last week. We were down, 10?
About 10, yeah.
10?
Last week on Wednesday, we pulled in about 60, 65. This week, we pulled in 55 on Wednesday.
Okay. And last week, we did break the record for the second straight week. This week, on today's Thursday, right?
Yep.
Last I checked. How many did we pull in last Thursday?
Last Thursday. Okay.
Sorry, here I am putting you on the spot
Yeah,
again.
you
I
asked
do
me
that.
for a
I
different
really
day.
do that well. I'll put you on the spot. a lot.
Last Thursday, we went from we had about 17 picks on a Thursday.
Okay, so we're going to need
70 picks on Wednesday, 17 picks on Thursday.
That was last week.
Yeah, that was last
So
week.
here, let's call it 30 today. We're going to need 30 picks today in
We need
order
you to
to
step up.
to stay on pace in terms of getting this thing for the third straight week. If you Tolos out there listening, maybe you listen to the show and love the show. I run into people, Diesel, in my hometown where I live almost every single day who tell me, hey, listen to the show, love the show. We have got to break our record for the third straight week. What you need to find a game in college football on ESPN.com where you like the underdog to win the game outright. Text in 71307, your name, your game, and the spread. That's how you enter. It's not too late to enter. We need, let's call it 30. That's our goal today.
Mm-hmm.
We need 30 upset picks. I'm looking on the text line, going back to the very first text of the show. Ty Duncan got his in. Ty Duncan 864. He took UL Monroe plus 10 over Marshall. So there's one. Tyler B, 2. ULM 10.5 over Marshall. Scotty Mack made 3. He took Vandy plus Auburn. Kevin Buggs made 4. UL Monroe. Sparty Party 12 made 5. Let's see here. Beckham made 6. Fred S. made 7. Percy made 8, Diesel. And I believe, Joey made 9. West Virginia fan made 10. So we're at 10. I believe we're at 10. Is that right, based on your calculations at 10 today?
We have 12 now
10,
because
12.
WVU fan 214, who's new, is taking Texas Tech for 13.5 over Iowa State. See, WVU fan, you figured it out. There's a lot of Tolos who never figure this thing out, but you got it quick. You're smart up there.
So that was the first one?
You Mountaineers up there. Smart folks, okay? We also had a text in from Leprechaun of Lyman, who's taking Kentucky for 17.5 over Tennessee.
Okay.
WVU fan 214. He's smart, man. He's with the program. He gave us his name. He gave us the game that he wanted and the spread. Now the spreads, remember everybody, the spreads are locked in on Wednesdays as of 3:00, so that everybody who picks the same game, whether you pick it on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, you're going to get the same number of points. So if the line moves on you by a half a point or a point, don't worry about it. We've got those spreads locked in. So you're going to get the number of points that it was as of Wednesday at 3:00. But we invite you to go to ESPN.com so that you can see where the spreads are and help you make a decision on what game you want.
In order to be on pace to break the record for the third straight week, which would be, I don't know if we've ever done. I believe we have more playing now than we've ever had in the history of the Challenge, Diesel. We need 18 more today, which is not a tall. We can do it. 18 today. We just got one more in. That makes 17. So between now and we get off the air about 6:53. Between now and 6:50, 6:53, we need 17 more. And then tomorrow we'll ask again. Let's break this record. Diesel, you told me, DB or U1 said that we have had a record number of players in the challenge brought to you by Ingles this year, more than ever. Is that right?
That's way more than ever. Way more than ever. We've seen a big jump this year. Number one, we got to thank Ingles, our sponsor, for making this thing so big. Number two, we thank you for having so much fun and getting into a challenge, even though there's no prize. You know, it's just bragging rights up for grabs. Now, hopefully in the future, we can change that, right? If we can show them, hey, look how many people send in their votes, send in their picks every single week. We can say, hey, look at this. We had, 115 a week for 16 weeks because we got the regular season, we got bowl games, we got playoff games.
Yeah.
However many weeks there are, we can say, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
We've got multiple thousands of people reaching out, and a lot of you are reaching out week after week after week, and that's fantastic.
We're going to do it.
I think we're going to do it.
Have something
and we
get
to show them, hey, guess what? This thing is huge. These Tolos are loyal. They are here every single week to be a part of this challenge.
Diesel,
we need to do something to reward them.
On your sheet, do you have Madcraft's pick for today?
I do have Madcraft's pick.
We're just making sure. We got Madcraft's pick.
Madcraft took Louisville plus 11.5 against Clemson, and JD took Duke plus 20 against Miami.
So in the matter of like 2 minutes, we've had several texts come in. Diesel, we're now down to 14. We need 14 more Tolos to get to 30.
Sounds like we're doing a radiothon.
It does. I mean, it really does. But that's what we're doing. Okay, let's see. On the text line, Sherb says Vandy plus 7 over Auburn. Joe
Not
from
a bad
Boiling.
pick.
No,
I can't fathom why Auburn's favored in this game. I genuinely can't.
It's a trap, man.
I get that Auburn has more talent. And maybe these pundits, maybe Vegas is thinking, okay, people are figuring out this sort of veer thing that Vandy is running, and they're figuring out ways to shut it down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Diego Pavia is.
You should have took it. You should have took it in your upset.
I needed some more points. Let me scroll back.
Yeah, please do.
To find my pick.
And while you do that, Joe from Boiling Springs, he wants Arkansas plus 8 over Ole Miss. I believe Joe from Boiling Springs, this might be his first one.
Could be. I took Texas Tech plus 14.5 over Iowa State because Texas Tech is a good football team. Iowa State's undefeated inside the top 15, but I got to make some moves here, man.
You got to make some money while you can.
Here's how this usually works is you get to week number 8 or 9 of the season and you find yourself, 30 points back from the lead and you're saying, oh, crap, I got to go big now if I want a chance to win this thing. So you feel like you got to press, kind of like maybe what Aaron Judge was doing last night when he came in too fast and too hard on that fly ball, and he maybe should have let it bounce in front of him, take a one hopper and keep the ball in front of you. Well, that's not what he did, Cole.
Diesel, another Duke. suggestion as well. Not suggestion, but pick Ayatollah. Duke plus 20 to knock off Miami. There's enough. I'm telling you, man, I have been surprised to see these Dukes. Oh, my word.
Shout out to Dan B, who we have a Google Doc with Dan B, and he's like watching this in real time. I don't know what Dan's up to today. I hope he's not flying at the moment, but Dan B keeps an eye on the picks, and he loves to go in and mark the Tolos who have never been in the challenge before in blue. So I know that's awesome. MTC Scott, that's MTC Scott from MTC Federal Credit Union. He is new to the challenge this week. That's awesome, man. He came to us to get people to know about his bank, and now he's into the challenge. Now he's a Tolo.
And that's more important than the sponsorship.
Right,
I'm
right.
kidding.
Hey, every one that we can get. Tyler from Easley is new to the challenge. SC Seminoles fan is in. He's new.
I think Joe from Boiling Springs is too. I swear he is. He just texted in. I think he's new.
Let us know. Dan B. If you see his pick on there, mark it blue. WVU fan is new. And yes, Joe from Boiling Springs is new. Joe from Boiling Springs is
Welcome to the freaking challenge. All right, my upset pick.
Tell us why. Tell me why.
Why I picked Saturday night at 8 o'clock, number 18 Pittsburgh, who is higher ranked than their opponent at 20 SMU. And I know rankings don't mean everything. It's
Pitt's being disrespected in these rankings.
They are. I think they are. So 18 Pitt at 20 SMU. It's Saturday night. SMU's favored, Diesel, by 7.5. It's not a lot of points. It's not. However, I really don't have a true strategy when I go through these games and try to find a winner. However, this week, when I looked at the slate of games, I found myself, I looked like 2 or 3 times over and over and over. I found myself going back to Pitt SMU. Why? No, it's not a lot of points. I'm not going to make a lot of, I'm not going to jump a lot of people, Diesel, but I think Pitt's the better team here. Well, I said yesterday that I think they win, and I actually didn't say think. I guaranteed a Pittsburgh win yesterday on the program. They're 7-0. To your point, they may be a little disrespected. I saw SMU Saturday night. I was not impressed, and I think Pitt gets the win. 7.5 points for me.
Here's the thing that makes me a little bit nervous about Pitt. They have not traveled as a true road game but one time in the last 5 weeks. So they've been playing at home a lot.
Why
can they handle going on the road? Look, I understand that SMU doesn't have the strongest home field advantage, but when you go on the road, sometimes things just change. Sometimes people play a little bit weird. SMU at home, Cole, has been putting up a ton of points. And they played 3 straight road games. Duke, Stanford, and Louisville won all 3 of those. And then you go back to September 21st and 28th. They put up a combined, Cole, 106 points in 2 games against TCU and Florida State. Granted, 2 weak football teams.
Yeah.
However, there's just something about playing at home for SMU where they put up points.
Brian said this sucks. This is why I hate picking early games. Brian on the YouTube stream, Diesel, said he lost last night. So he picked his game on Wednesday. And I've done that before. It doesn't hit. Then you have to wait then you have to wait an entire week to get a new pick. So we'll see. But I do like Pitt, man. Look, I think Pitt's a team that has the defense to hold SMU down. I think Pitt deserves a lot of credit for being undefeated. I know that they haven't played the best of the best this season. We all know that, they play in the ACC. However, I'm confident in this game. I really am.
Texter, our buddy from Northeast Texas, says, keep picking against my Mustangs, Cole. No points for you.
Oh, that's right. This would be 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row.
Texter, remind us exactly where you're texting us from. We were looking up your
Did he say Texarkana?
Well, Texarkana is inside that area code, but I don't remember if he told us specifically where he was texting from. You might have told us. But our memory gets bad, Sometimes it's tough. What memory exactly? So you Tolos, again, those of you who are new to the challenge, those of you who have never played before, don't feel like you shouldn't get involved because you're waiting until week 10 of the season. You can make your way up the leaderboard quickly. You probably are not going to win this thing. I'm going to be real with you. You're not going to win.
Well,
however, when we've got over 100 Tolos just with points. And we've got a bunch who don't have any points at all. Tolos who are good at this challenge in the past who have no points at all. If you could work your way up onto the top half of this leaderboard, I would call that a serious win.
It'd be a big one.
And hey, this is your chance to kind of figure out the process. We're going to do it again next year, of course, and we would love for you to be involved next year. So again, go to ESPN.com. That's the website we use for our official spreads. Find a game where you think the betting underdog is going to win the game outright, not against the spread, but win the game outright. And if they do, you will get the number of points by which that team is an underdog added to a rolling season-long tally. So when you're ready to make your pick, you text it into us during show hours. If it's outside of show hours, we're not going to see it, and it's not going to count. So send it to us during show hours.
Yep.
Send us your name, your game, and the spread to 71307. Make sure the word fan is the first word of your text.
Texter says Gamecocks 31, Texas A&M 20. Gamecock defense forces 3 turnovers, says the texter, giving the offense great field position all night. Love the matchup of the offense against our defense. Also, it's Halloween, and Cade Klubnik will have nightmares of Dylan Stewart and Kyle Kennard. I like it. Texter already getting a little frisky with the Clemson, South Carolina. Mike Main chimes in on the text line 71307 and says, okay, Cole, you convinced me. Give me Pitt plus 7.5 over SMU. Let's go, Mike Main. I don't know how many Tolos we have who have picked that one, but Mike Main, I'm glad to see you on board. That texter, Diesel, answered your question about where they live. He said from Tyler, Texas, but live in Dallas. Unfortunately, a Cowboys fan, so I try to just focus on college football. Texter, appreciate the heck.
You dated a woman in Tyler, Texas once, right?
No, maybe once or twice.
You already forgot her name.
I already forgot, man. I lived, Texter, for a short time. I lived in the Colony. If you know where the Colony is, you live in Dallas. Number one, we appreciate you listening from Dallas. I believe this texter, Diesel, said he was here for work, found the show, went back home, and kept listening to us. And that means a lot. He says, unfortunately, a Cowboys fan, so I try to just focus on college football. Listen, I feel your pain. I feel your pain, texter, but I live in the Colony, so that's pretty cool that you're listening to us and you're Toloing from Dallas. Appreciate you. Diesel?
Texter says, chickens have won 1 of the last 10 Palmetto Bowls. Resilient ignorance at its finest.
God.
Go Tigers. He's replying to Perk. By the way, this is a long text from Perk. I know Perk personally. I know his dad. I know what kind of family he comes from. And they're a little nuts. They're a little nutty with their Gamecock fandom.
I like it, though.
I'm going to tell you right now, I've never been trash talked more in my life than when I hang out with Papa Joe.
Really?
Over at Perk's house on Saturdays to watch football.
We need to go to Georgia game.
He will get in my ear hole and trash talk me about a game that he cares nothing about. That's just who he is.
You need to go to a Georgia game. You would you'd meet your match there.
I'm ready to go. Let's go. I've been to one Georgia game, didn't go well for us. Cole, when we come back, it is time for you. Hang on.
Get to Billy?
Yeah, let's get to Billy Billy Horn on the phone first. Excuse me, I didn't see that. Billy, what are you dressing up as tonight?
Oh, nothing. I just want to sit on the porch and scare the little kids.
Hey, all right.
But today we're going to take Texas Tech plus 14 over Iowa State.
Ooh,
I'm
like
with
it.
the Diesel on this one.
All right. What makes you confident in this game?
I still just think that Texas Tech is on the right track, and Iowa State I just don't have confidence in Iowa State.
That's fair.
I like it, man. And that's 14.5. That'd be a big win.
Thank you, Billy. Yeah, and it's a good pick for Billy Horn, too, because Billy, let me see where Billy is in the
He did well for like 3 straight weeks, didn't he?
Yeah, Billy Horn came back out of nowhere. I'm telling you. Billy Horn has 32.5 points. He is tied for 11th place with Greenville Gamecock. 32.5 points. He adds 14 to that, Cole. He is now at 46.5 points, which would put him inside the top 5. So that's a good pick. That's a good pick. And not a lot of Tolos are taking that one at this point. We've probably had 7 or 8 at this point, but not a ton have taken it. Cole, when we come back, I want to take you back to your childhood, okay?
Okay.
I want all you Tolos who are probably going to steal from your kids tomorrow morning. let's do a little draft here. Let's do a draft of our best Halloween candies.
I'm ready.
And you Tolos will decide who ultimately has the best sack of candy. That's coming up next on the Fan Upstate. It's Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on this, the spookiest of days in America, except for, well, maybe the day after the election. You never know. Depends on who you're talking to. It's only spooky for 50% of the population. Guys, your kids are going to be running around like little hooligans all evening. Oh, sorry, my paintbrush hit the microphone. Your kids are running around like hooligans, getting bags upon bags of sugar-filled treats that are going to make your lives miserable, that is going to run up your dentistry bill. But the best part is you get to steal some of it.
Yeah.
You know, you get to take some of it. It's called the dad tax, the mom tax, whatever it is. You get to take your pick of the best things out of your kid's candy bag. So let's do this right here, right now, Cole. Let's do a 5-item each draft of the best Halloween candies.
Okay.
And then the Tolos are going to decide who has the better bag. Okay.
Ooh.
It's very simple. I've got a quarter here. Very just classic American quarter.
Is this a coin toss?
Yeah, we're gonna do a coin toss.
Yeah.
And the winner will get to go first.
Please keep this civil,
that's not no biting, no scratching, no hair pulling, no eye gouging, none of that stuff. Okay, Cole, I'm gonna let you call it in the air.
Heads.
It is tails.
Oh, you did it. That's both sides are tails. Both sides.
That's not true. It's not true. This is what state is this? This is great radio. This is it's one of those fancy arches quarters. Anyway, so I get to go first, Cole. We're gonna draft five each. Okay, five each. I'm gonna be keeping track of our Halloween candy drafts. I'm gonna go first. You're gonna go second. Cole, here we go with the 2024 Halloween candy draft. Pick number 1 is in.
That was scary.
And I have chosen Reese's Buttercups. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Reese Cups.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if they're the round sort of flat ones. Doesn't matter if it's the slightly taller ones and smaller ones. But Reese Cups.
That's where I was going first.
Reese's.
You suck.
Well, it pays to get the number 1 overall pick.
Now,
unless you're the Carolina Panthers, in which case you draft Bryce Young.
That's a good one. However, I like you have the ones that are big and the wrappers.
Yeah.
But I like the smaller ones better that have the colored wrapper. Once you unwrap it, then you have the little small, the little smaller.
The paper wrapper.
Yeah.
The wax paper. They all have that in there.
Yeah, but I don't like the big ones. I like the small ones.
You don't like the little ones that are shaped like pumpkins that don't look like pumpkins at all?
Well, like quarter size kind of?
No, these are the big ones. They're like that big.
No, I don't like those. I like the smaller ones.
They're all the same thing, though.
Yeah, I know, but
it's chocolate on the outside, peanut butter filling on the inside.
The smaller ones that are better, though.
Really?
Even though it's the
okay, well,
even though it's the exact same,
you're gonna have a hard time beating me just because you didn't get Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. But here we go. This is a Halloween candy draft. Imagine parents, you're gonna be doing this later on tonight. You're gonna be rummaging through your kids' Halloween candy bags. So let's go, Cole. Round number 1 for you. This is your the second overall pick. Is the pick in?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, the pick is in.
So, I'm a sour candy guy. However, with my first pick, I've got to level you. I've got to beat you.
Good luck.
And I'm going Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. Okay.
Kit Kat.
All right.
It's one of my. I would say it's probably
weak,
though.
That's a weak pick.
That's not a weak pick. If you talk about just chocolate candy, Kit Kat might be the best. I'm telling you.
No way.
I'm telling you.
No, come on. There's not a Tolo out there who believes that Kit Kats are better than Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
They're so good, though, man. They're so
not
good.
One. Okay. So first pick, Diesel, me. I took Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Cole took Kit Kats. Obviously, you get them in all their forms. There's no I'm going to take this one. There's no cheating like yesterday when Cole said, I'm going to take no sauce at all.
It was
and I'm going to do your A1
It was the field.
With no sauce at all.
It was in the field. I didn't make the rules. I just played the game.
Okay, Cole, here we go. Pick number 3 in the 2024 Halloween candy bag draft. The pick is in.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Snickers bar.
Overrated.
What?
Overrated.
Why?
Overrated because
You're wrong.
there's just nothing about it that like does it for you. I know they have the commercials. Like when you have think about this. When you have candy that has to have a commercial change the person, you know it's not a good candy. It's not.
No, it changes you back to who you're supposed to be.
If it takes that kind of commercial, that kind of marketing to get people to buy your candy, it's not a good candy. Snickers is just blah. Like you'll eat them, but there's nothing fantastic.
It's got peanuts, it's got caramel, it's got chocolate, it's got everything.
By
the way, do you say caramel or caramel?
I say caramel.
Caramel, yeah, it's caramel.
I say caramel. That's the proper way to say it. I don't.
Yeah,
it's
caramel corn. It's a caramel latte.
Oh God, please don't pick caramel corn. Please.
No, I'm not picking caramel corn.
Do you know the proper way to eat caramel corn? By the way,
you throw it in the trash and walk away.
100% correct. That is the proper way.
Okay,
it's trash.
Okay, Cole, are you ready with the 4th overall pick in the 2024 Halloween Candy Draft?
I am ready.
Yep. The pick is in.
So this one's going to put me over the edge here. And I know a lot of people love Reese's and are saying you've won already because you got the Reese's pick. Nerds for number 2. Yes.
What?
Nerds are unfreaking defeated.
So
there's nothing better.
I know that you get it in all forms. Okay. So I'm not debating you. I'm not trying to scoop you and take the different version of it. But there's nerds and there's nerds clusters.
Yeah. I don't like the clusters.
You don't?
Mm-mm. You had them?
Yeah.
Not a big fan.
Yeah.
I like
Mike. Don't you remember Mike Leach going off about nerds clusters, talking about this new invention that nerds has come up with? Nerds clusters and about how much better they are.
I would rather have the box. There's something about the box, man. Like when you just turn that puppy upside down, you feel like you just took a shot of nerds. There's nothing better. I mean, nerds are. I do like sour candy better than chocolate. I know I picked chocolate first because Kit Kats are my all-time favorite, but nerds are hard to beat.
Ooh, okay. I do like nerds, but I don't eat a ton of them. I haven't bought myself nerds.
I hadn't either
in years.
I don't even know.
I'll buy myself.
Can you buy nerds?
Yeah, you can. You can go to any gas station.
When's the last time you seen nerds sitting around? I haven't. I don't know.
They have them at the movie theaters.
That's true.
There's never anybody there to help you, but you can get them at the movie theaters. Okay, Cole. Pick number 6. No, it's pick number 5. Excuse me. Pick number 5 in the 2024 Halloween Candy Draft. The pick is in. Peanut M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms. I see. I'm even being specific here, Cole. I'm being specific here because I don't like any other kind of M&Ms.
You don't like regular?
No. Plain M&Ms are garbage.
See, I don't think so.
Flat garbage.
I would rather have plain than the peanut. Now, I had M&Ms the other day. Somebody gave me some. It was the M&Ms that had like more peanut butter, or was it chocolate on the inside?
The peanut butter M&Ms are next level. Peanut butter M&Ms are next level.
Yeah, I think it was. Oh my gosh.
I love the almond M&Ms too, but you don't see those very often.
That's look, peanut M&Ms are good, but my draft's better. My draft, I'm going to win this thing.
No, you're not.
I'm going to win.
No, you're not. You better come strong with your last 3 picks because you got Kit Kat and nerds. I've got Reese's peanut butter cups, Snickers bars, and peanut M&Ms.
Okay, I've got it.
So you're ready.
I've got it.
Pick number 6 is in.
You might not let it count, but it is a different candy. So I'm going Reese's Pieces.
That's a different candy. That counts.
Bam! Let's go.
Reese's Pieces are good.
They're good.
Reese's Pieces are really good.
I think I just made a comeback right there.
I think you did. God dang it. How did I not think of Reese's Pieces? Did you know in the movie E.T., Cole, have you ever seen the movie E.T.?
I have, yeah.
That they were originally going to use M&Ms, but then when they contacted M&Ms and said, hey, we'd love to use your candy in our movie, M&M said, nah, we don't really want to do that kind of marketing. And then Reese's Pieces was an obscure small candy at the time.
Oh, it was an E.T.?
Yeah, it was an E.T. I think they used it to like kind of like laying breadcrumbs.
I don't remember that.
To get E.T. I think it was when E.T. was in the closet, or they tried to get him in the closet or out of the closet. I can't remember which.
I don't know why, but I always feel like E.T. is the oldest movie ever created. I know it's not, but it feels that way. It just feels old to me.
Yeah? But
Maybe it's 'cause I was young.
but the practical effects were good. I mean, they had to do everything practical back then. They didn't have anything else.
Mark on the YouTube stream asked, Cole, do you take the candy from the press box on Friday? Well,
Ooh.
what candy?
Yeah, he says, what candy?
What candy?
I don't know what candy you're talking about.
I've never seen candy in a press
candy
box at a high school game. If there is, I'm going to the wrong press boxes, I guess.
Oh, I thought you took all the candy and you just pretended like there was nothing there.
Did I take candy from a press box? Mark, what are you talking about? I don't take things from press.
Okay, Cole, we have 3 picks in a piece. We got 2 more to go, 2 more each,
Okay.
2 more selections. It's the candy draft here on Halloween 2024, and pick number 7 is in. Now, I know you are the sour candy aficionado, but I've known a time or two to eat a sour candy.
Okay.
And I'm going to go Warheads.
Oh, God, you can only eat. They're just
Warheads.
so sour.
Yeah, that's the point.
Do people put warheads in candy and trick or treat? Do they do that?
Yeah, you can get Warheads in kid trick or treat.
Ooh.
The good houses do. The good houses do.
I like warheads. I really do. I really
too.
do. I hadn't had them in a long time, but I like warheads.
Yeah.
But is that your pick 4 or 5?
That's my pick 4.
Okay, so tell me your list again.
I've got Reese's peanut butter cups,
That's good. It's good.
Snickers bars,
Eh,
peanut M&Ms,
eh.
and Warheads.
That's good. I like 2 of your 4.
You've got Kit Kat, Nerds, and Reese's Pieces so far.
Kit Kat, Nerd, Reese's Pieces. I like mine a lot. I've got 2 chocolate and 1 sour, though. That's the problem. That's the problem. And I think most people out there would probably say chocolate's better than the sour.
Can we be real? Also, American chocolate sucks. Have you ever had European chocolate? It's so much better.
I don't know. Do they put
So
European
much
chocolate in Halloween?
No,
pumpkins?
because it's expensive.
Oh.
It's expensive.
Okay.
You
So
ready?
this is my pick 4. Let's see here. Pick number 4. I'm almost ready.
Just thinking about it. Okay.
I'm thinking
the
about
player that he wanted was just taken off the board, so he's got to pivot.
And you know, in the NFL, I mean, how long do they give you? My gosh, they give you what?
10 minutes.
Is it that?
It feels like it. Feels like a half an hour.
I mean, it feels like you're just sitting there waiting.
What are we missing, by the way? Tolos. I'm not trying to like cheat and get hints from the Tolos.
You're trying to cheat.
I'm not. And I'm not even looking at the text line right now. I promise you that. Not looking at the text line right now. But I guarantee you there's Tolos out there screaming at their radios. Like, how are you forgetting?
Yep, I've got
this?
This one. This is the
Okay.
one we're talking about.
All right, pick number 8 is in. That is a freaky scream.
It is scary. It scares me every time you play it. I'm going, well, this is my 4th.
This is your 4th.
Starburst.
Starburst.
Boom, Starburst. I'm coming back.
God almighty. Why
Coming
did
back.
I not think of Starbucks?
Coming back, baby.
First. Didn't
Let's go.
even think of those.
What is the best colored Starburst? Don't say yellow or I'm walking out.
No, it's not yellow.
Ugh.
Banana flavored? No.
Ugh.
Banana flavor, anything doesn't
So
even
gross.
remotely taste like banana.
No.
And
And bananas are gross.
The best one is probably strawberry.
Is that
the
the
pink
red
one.
Oh, pink. I
Yeah.
like the pink.
The red ones are cherry.
Yeah.
The blue ones, I guess, are blueberry.
Blue ones.
Yeah.
I have blue ones, do they?
Do they? They do.
Pink's the best.
Yeah, they do.
Pink's the best. I'm with you there.
God, now I'm trying to think. I'm racking my brain for what.
I think
for
I've got
what
this in the
pick
bag.
number
man.
9.
I've got
should
this in the
be.
freaking bag.
Pick number 9. What should pick number 9? I'm thinking like all the things that I used to get as a kid. Tootsie Rolls suck. Gosh. I'm thinking
is your
of
last pick or
old,
no?
Yeah. I'm thinking like old school candies. I wish we had made a rule call, and I'm not going to do it now because it's too late. I'm not going to do it now, but we should have had to pick one like classic old school candy.
Oh,
we can do
God.
that. Hey, let's do that. We'll do that with number 6. How about that?
Okay.
We have 5 modern
So
candies.
6 doesn't count? Or
One
no, it
classic.
does?
Yeah, it's in the bag.
Okay.
It's in the bag, but it's just like an old school candy. If you want to do that.
Okay.
Okay. Pick number 9 in the Halloween candy draft. The pick.
Better be a good one because I'm winning right now.
The pick. No, you're not. The pick is in. This is a wild card. All right. I'm going pure personal choice.
This
pure
one could,
what I
this
like.
one could win it or lose
I'm
it.
not really trying to pick something here that's going to make the Tolos side with me, Cole.
Oh, you're
but
that's risky.
I've always loved these. I've always loved them. I'm going 0 bars.
0.
0 bars.
What is that?
Yeah, it's the white candy bar.
I don't know that I've had it.
Yeah, you have. We have it in the candy machine downstairs.
I can afford that stuff.
It's more expensive there than it is at the gas station down the road.
Time out. We have a candy machine?
Yeah, we do.
Where?
Right downstairs, right outside of Roy's office.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. I had no idea.
You've walked by it like 100 times.
I had no idea.
Well, it's always empty because nobody ever comes by and fills it up.
I had no idea.
But I'm going to go 0 bars.
Okay.
Again, that is a wild card choice.
All right.
I get it.
I'm fixing to win it.
It's
right
not
here.
for everybody.
I'm
but it's
winning
for me.
the challenge right here.
Okay. Is the pick in?
It's in. This is the winner. Whoppers. You know, the they come in like the cream colored pack. It's chocolate on the outside.
The heck is a Whopper?
You know what a Whopper is? You don't know what a Whopper is?
Whopper's candy.
You've never had a Whopper?
Oh, those.
Yes, those.
Yeah. No, those are terrible.
No.
Those are terrible. What even is that flavor on the inside of a Whopper?
It's I don't know.
See, you can't even articulate.
It's milk balls.
What it is?
It's
so it's a milk dud.
It's a no.
See, that's where you
That's
screwed up.
caramel. That's caramel though. They have caramel in milk dud. This is a malted milk ball.
You mean sour milk?
No.
You mean sour milk?
Good milk. DB says Whoppers killed people in surgery. No, they did. Who said it?
That's a great Seinfeld reference, Dan B. There was an episode of Seinfeld where Kramer dropped a Whopper into a patient getting some sort of like chest cavity surgery, and it killed somebody.
All right, can we give our final 5 on the other side?
Yes, we can.
And see who wins and who. I feel good about mine. I really do. I feel good. But Tolos, you got to decide next. 28 text messages about Halloween candy. I mean, come on, are you kidding me?
And we got one texter who's like, is this a sports show or a candy show?
It's actually a candy show now.
Yeah.
They changed the format. If you didn't know, it's the Fan Upstate. We cover candy from 3 to 7 right here on the Fan Upstate. Any kind of candy, we talk about it every day, all day, 365 days of the year. Every now and then we throw in sports. But
Bongo like candy.
it's a candy show. All right, Diesel,
Yeah.
we need to decide who wins. We have a lot of text, some siding with you, some siding with me. A lot of people commenting on the stream as well. A lot of Tolos on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
One more time. You have the list of who took what.
Yep. Okay, so your my picks, I went first, third, fifth, seventh, ninth. I had Reese's peanut butter cups, Snickers,
Okay.
peanut M&Ms, Warheads, and Zero Bars. Cole took Kit Kats, Nerds, Reese's Pieces, great pick, Starburst, and Whoppers.
I
Malted
think
milk balls.
those are great, by the way. And a quick programming note. I failed to do this in hour number 1. Tolos, we need you to go ahead and start thinking now. 12 minutes from right now is the Tolo takeover. So go ahead and start thinking about what you're going to take over the airwaves with. We're going to come to you at 5 o'clock. But, Diesel, I like my list, man. I really do.
Yeah. We've got a poll up at the Fan Upstate on Twitter. You can text us who wins. You can also go vote in the poll at the Fan Upstate on Twitter.
All right, let's see. Texter says Reese Cups are by far the best. Texter says Diesel started off strong, then fell off a cliff. Cole with the overall win. Reese Pieces are great. Watermelon Sour Patch Kids. Oh, I forget about that one.
Sour Patch Kids.
Forgot all about that one.
Come on.
Let's see. Corn Chip said it was Junior Mints on Seinfeld. Texter says Whoppers are at Burger King. That's probably Tom texting in. Tolo from the 432 said, Cole, I just threw up in my mouth. Whoppers? Yeah, they're that good. Let's see. Diesel, Zero Bars are like eating a Diet Tab flavored candy bar.
It's different, It's just different. I like it. It's white chocolate.
Texter from the 262 says Cole's candy is better, but if it were me, I'd pick Gummy Bears, Rolo, Dots, Sour Patch Kids, $100 grand.
Rolos, $100,000.
Those are gross.
No,
and Simpson-
$100,000 are just what candy companies put in the bag to fill out
This looks
other
so
better
gross.
candies.
It really is.
Get
Michael
outta
in
here.
Simpsonville said Sugar Baby. I don't know what that was. A Sugar Baby.
Sugar Baby.
I don't know what that is. Michael, I'm sorry. I don't know what a Sugar Baby is.
Sugar Baby's candy.
Do you know?
Oh, I've seen these things. Yeah, it's in a yellow box with red writing on it, and it looks like, what are these? Like, they're milk caramels,
Ooh.
candy coated milk caramels. They look like basically uncoated M&Ms.
540 says Cole wins the candy draft through 3 rounds. Texter says it's actually pronounced Reese's PCs, not just like the standard pieces. Wait a minute. Reese's PC? What? Reese's Pieces. Is that right?
It's Reese's Pieces. It's not Reese's Pieces. Because then that sounds
Texter
like
says it is.
that sounds like another word for doo-doo, for caca.
Reese's. Texter says it's pronounced Reese's Pieces.
No way.
Wait a minute. Did I say it again? How do I say it? Reese's Pieces. That's what I say. He said Reese's PCs. Say that fast.
Reese's Pieces?
Reese's Pieces.
But see, like
Can't say it.
I grew up as a kid, and like as a child, you call it Reese's Pieces. And that's not right either.
That's what he's saying is right.
My whole life is a lie.
I don't know. Madcraft says, I'm going Cole. I appreciate the Starburst selection. Hershey Kisses are also a good selection.
No way.
I don't really-
Hershey's Kisses are just plain.
It's like a Hershey bar. There's nothing that's magical except, okay, the peanut Hershey Kisses.
When
Okay,
I
maybe.
asked what a sugar baby is, Texter says, I know what a sugar mama is.
Well, I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. Sugar Baby, I wasn't really familiar with it. And that's probably Tom. Tom, all caps Tom. Let's see. Eric says Milk Duds over Whoppers. I do not like Milk Duds. I don't like it. I'm just not going to do it.
No. We bought a bag of candy, and my wife is the only one who'll eat the Milk Duds out of it. I don't touch them.
Yep. So, Texters, Tolos, like Diesel said, there is a poll on the Fan Upstate Twitter at the Fan Upstate. Go vote in the poll. It's the most important voting you can do this month. I mean, this year. vote for who wins the Halloween candy challenge, Diesel or myself.
Well, we asked the question earlier, what are we missing? Tixter said Skittles and Laffy Taffy.
Okay, the Skittles is a good one, but Laffy Taffy's gross.
Get out of here with
Here's the rule that I have on Halloween candy. Anything that tastes like wax, you throw in the trash. Laffy Taffy, Twizzlers, licorice,
get out of here.
Candy corn.
The only thing that Twizzlers were good for is you could bite the end off of it and drink your soda through it as a straw.
Okay, you can do that with those sour. Yeah, I'm with you. I just don't like anything that tastes like
so
wax,
Cole,
man.
This is off the outside of the challenge here. Okay, we didn't get to this. What's your favorite old school candy? Like you're talking about, like your parents' candy or even your grandparents' candy that sometimes shows up in your candy bag. You don't know how it gets there. It's probably because the old lady down the street.
What's an example?
Texter said Cowtails. Cowtails are an old school candy.
I wasn't a Cowtails guy, man.
Okay, well, I mean, just pick something in that vein. I'm going with I'm trying to remember the name of them now. Somebody help me out. They were a little peanut butter wafer.
Oh, the bars.
Yeah, the little peanut butter bars, about the size of the end of your thumb.
Yes.
They were striped white and brown.
Yes,
I'm going with the peanut butter bars.
I like the little small wrappers that had like the caramel. I don't know what they're called. Little small wrappers. You unravel them, and it's like a caramel. It's like a piece of soft caramel, almost like fudge, but it's not. I forget what it's called. You know what I'm talking about?
Not a clue.
Of course, I don't know either. But I remember them being like in a dark red wrapper.
In a dark red. I used to love the little strawberry candies. They were in a strawberry wrapper. Yeah,
that's
pink
a good
wrapper
one.
with a little green foil at the top.
Those were good.
Still not better than peanut butter bars, though.
Diesel, I forgot all about those.
Well, you messed up.
That is a really, really good one. How about that? All right, well, there's your winner. Let's see. Texter says Cole wins the candy challenge. Cole, you're getting killed at the polls, says John Dog. Hurricane Jeff says you guys forgot 3 Musketeers and York peppermint patties.
No, I don't need peppermint. I don't need to feel like I'm skiing down a mountain. Okay, I want candy. That's all I want. When we come back, Cole, it is time for the Tolos to take over. There's probably going to be some Tolos calling in to yell at us about our candy choices. You can do that too if you want. The Tolo takeover is next. Look, I know you got a lot of pent-up feelings, rage, joy. I don't know what's going on in your life, but here's your opportunity once a week to call in and take over these wire-to-wire and Fan Upstate airwaves and tell us exactly what's on your mind. This is the Tolo Takeover. 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-326-3663 is the number you need to call to get in. Cole, do we have the intro ready to go?
You do have the intro ready to go. I'm glad you called for it because I forgot about it. I forgot. I'd go dig for the intro. I think this is the right one. Let's see.
Okay. It took me 1 hour to get $14.65 worth of gas.
By God, if I don't get that extra cup of sauce, I'm coming back in. I ain't waiting in line.
Okay, I saw some stuff on the internet that really got me going.
Y'all have got me conditioned that I gotta say thank you every time I call you guys. And when it's the Tolo Takeover, I kind of want to just call and be angry for a minute, but I got to start off being all cordial and say thank you for taking my call.
Have to.
This isn't a bad part. I mean, that's a bad part, but that's not why I'm mad at sale.
The Gamecocks are going to win in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Y'all need to be fired.
The grocery stores, at least the ones nearest me, are completely out of frozen pizza, except for cauliflower pizza.
Oh.
So if you are at the grocery store and nobody will buy your cauliflower pizzas, maybe you should stop carrying.
What really ticked me off when he speaks, not because he's the Clemson football coach, but when he speaks about an ACC game, he makes it seem like it's some big ordeal. Jabba, your schedule sucks.
And I am pissed off today, okay? It took me 1 hour to get $14.65 worth of gas.
That's it.
That's what you got to live up to,
That's
Tolos.
great, man.
That's what you got to do. 844-326-3663. You got something to talk about, vent about. Now's your chance to do it. Let's go to the phone lines, and let's go to Tom in Somerville. Tom.
What's up, guys? Hey, I am so excited. It's almost Saturday. It's been a long week. I went to the gas station today, and this woman was just grinding my gears. But you know what? We're almost to Saturday. Gamecocks have a prime opportunity to get a top 10 win, and it's going to happen. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in the fairgrounds. And you know what? Y'all are talking about candy. So my favorite type of candy is a Laffy Taffy. And you know what I'm going to be doing when the Gamecocks win on Saturday night? I'm going to be shaking my Laffy Taffy all the way down to the Vista. Gamecocks by 100, and we'll see y'all on Saturday. Go Gamecocks!
Oh,
Tom.
my
Another
God.
excellent call. Another fantastic
What
call
in
from
the
Tom in
world
Somerville.
just-
This
what-
dude is unhinged.
What is with him? Oh, my gosh.
DB says Tom and gas stations
That's what
do
I was
not get
about
along.
to say. It's like he just doesn't need to go in gas stations. And by the way, there's your golf clap.
Yeah,
Tom. That,
deserved. Well deserved, Tom.
oh, my God.
Well deserved.
Sometimes with Tom, kind of like I was with Mark Schlereth yesterday, just always ready to lean over and hit that dump button if I need to. I kind of feel that way with Tom, but he hadn't made me hit it yet.
When Mark Schlereth would be that Jacksonville is a bleep hole.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
He said, please don't put this out there on the web. Please don't make a piece of content out of this.
We should have.
Wouldn't. Oh, come on. You really want to burn that bridge?
Yeah, I think so.
How about this? We go to Dale on the phone lines. Dale, do you have anything to say that's not about the Dallas Cowboys today?
Oh, Dale hung up.
No, wait, Dale. There
That's
you
not
are.
Dale.
How about-
Oh, that's not Dale.
Oh, no.
That's not Dale.
All right, Dale hung up. Who do we have now?
Tyler from Easley.
Tyler.
What's up, man?
What's up? Hey, I'm going to mix it up real quick and talk Clemson basketball since the season's starting next week.
All right.
So
Sure.
It's extremely frustrating being a Clemson Tigers fan, as we all know. I feel like, yes, we made the Elite Eight. That's fantastic. But every time that Brad Brownell makes the tourney, we extend him 3 to 4 years, pay him a buttload of money, and then immediately upon that extension, he has 3 seasons where he misses the tournament. Then he makes it, we extend him. He makes it, we extend him. I feel like we're in what's equivalent to an early 2000s Tommy Bowden football period of mediocrity that we just can't get out of. We have the facilities, the boosters, the administration, everything that we need to build a good program. There's no excuse that we can't do it. We need to kick Brownell out and bring in a good coach. If he has a losing, or if we miss the tournament this year, I think they eat his contract and bring in, spend some big money and bring somebody better in.
Tyler, are you going to fire a guy that went to the Elite Eight?
Yeah.
And Tyler, I want to get your thoughts on this because we've all had time to sit and ruminate on this. Brad Brownell has brought in a handful of good pieces, at least we think so, out of the transfer portal. Victor Lakin, the big old center from the big old scary Russian center out of Cincinnati. He's coming in. Miles Foster. You got some senior players coming in. Junior Jaden Zachary, Christian Reeves. If he was good enough to get on at Duke, he's good enough to play at Clemson, right? I think Brad Brownell's done a fairly good job in the transfer portal this year.
He 100% has, and on the transfer portal and on the recruiting side. But what that translates into is going to be interesting to see.
Good point.
If he can't create a team that gels and has a moderately deep run into the tournament with his contract extension and with that roster, I think the Clemson administration and athletic department needs to look in the mirror and make a hard decision.
So what are you in your
frustrating?
Tyler, I'm with you. I'm a Clemson fan too. What do you think the goal? Okay, he just made the Elite Eight. What does he have to do again this year to make you feel confident that he's the guy?
I think a Sweet 16 is a solid goal.
Okay, I like that. That's fair. That's when you win two games.
Good call, Tyler. I like it.
I like it a lot.
Look, you have to be able to build off of what you just had. If you regress, if you go back to, one and done in the ACC tournament, one and done in the NCAA tournament, I clearly see look, I've not been a fan of Brad Brownell. We talked about it a lot last year.
We did.
Not a big fan of Brad Brownell, but you gotta say, hey, maybe you're building something here. We're gonna play this out. We're gonna punt this decision away for another year.
Yeah.
So,
no, I think that's a very fair take. I like it a lot, Tyler. Appreciate you calling. I do think that you going one and done would show heavy regression. It wouldn't be what Clemson fans would want in the tournament. So I'm with you. No pushback there. I like it.
We had a texter earlier not give us his name with his upset pick. Texters, if your last four digits
what if he doesn't have
are 3556, hit us back with your upset pick.
What if he doesn't have a name?
Well, everybody's got a name.
Maybe he couldn't afford a name. I couldn't for a long time.
Really?
We've got Dale and Twisted Whisker wanting to get in on the conversation. Let's go to Dale first. What's up, Dale? What's on your mind? It's the Tolo Takeover.
When you get about ready to call in and then the wife calls you, so you got to hang up and then talk to her about some dumb stuff about, hey, where you at? How much longer until you're home? All this stuff. And then you forget about the reason why you called in the first place.
I hope she's not listening.
Is it the Dallas Cowboys, Dale?
Oh, yes, this is.
Of course it is. What do you got?
That frustrates me. So let me ask you something. Do they ever call you and it's always stupid stuff like, well, let me tell you how my day was, and you're about to tell me all this once we get home. Why you got to tell me that over the phone?
God, Dale, you're wired up, man.
I don't know. Jerry Jones had your cell phone number. He'd rather talk about how his day is gone than about his team.
Well, it's all the media's fault.
Dale,
it's our fault. It's all the media's fault.
No, I'm with you. What do you do, though, Dale, if you get home and your wife says, Dale, I have something to tell you. And you say, what, honey? You say, well, I'm a Tolo too, and I heard you fussing at me on the radio today.
Well, she only listens to 106.9, so I ain't got to worry about that.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I ain't got to worry about that at all. No, but so I know you guys are always doing your tour at Ingalls. When are you going to stop near the 221? When are you going to make that stop out here?
What town is that in? Chesney.
It's Spartanburg, but it's on the Chesney Highway. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you,
221.
I can tell you, Dale, where we're going to be for the next couple of weeks. On November 6th, we're going to be at the Ingalls in Liberty. On November 20th, we're going to be at the Ingalls on Pelzer Highway in Easley. On December 4th, we're going to be at the one on Gear Highway in Travelers Rest. December 18th, we're going to be at the location on Anderson Road in Piedmont.
So you're out of luck. Hey, but let me tell you this, Dale. November the 16th is a Saturday. You won't get to see Diesel, The Saturday Scramble on November the 16th will be at 2375 Chesney Highway in Spartanburg. That's November the 16th. I'll be there.
All right. If I'm not officiating a football game at that time, I will make it a point to come and see you.
I like it. I like it.
All right.
Dale, what are all the NFL officials' excuses? You're an official. You should speak for all of them. What's going on out there?
They haven't promoted me yet.
Oh, he's waiting.
It's their fault.
He's waiting. He's waiting.
Their fault.
He's in the
Okay.
waiting.
I gotta wait for them to age out. They're getting close.
No
They're
kidding.
getting close.
No kidding.
Appreciate you, Dale. Dale, I hope Dale's hitting the weight room too, because have you seen all these NFL refs out there lately?
Some of them are pretty
Man,
jacked.
they are jacked.
Real quick, before we get a Twisted Whisker, Texter says, my beef is with the Wendy's on Fairview Road. Stopped in for lunch and we're closed 12:45. Last time I was there, they said it was a 24-minute wait for a burger. Does your Frosty machine work? Because I have 4 kids wanting one. Side note, he said yes. I gave the guy a 20 and keep the change. Oh, my gosh. That's rough.
Why do you keep going back to the same crappy
That's
Wendy's?
rough. You got to call in next time,
Why do you
Texter.
keep- yeah.
That'd be a great Tolo takeover on the phone line.
Hey, I pulled up to a fast food restaurant and have them say, we're closed through the window.
Yeah,
Like you
I
sit
have
there,
to.
you sit there, and you sit there, and you sit there at the order box. The light's on, by the way.
Yeah.
You sit there, you sit there, you sit there. Then you finally pull up because is anybody going to talk to me? You pull up, somebody's inside. They go, we're closed. It's
All right.
lunchtime, woman.
Let's go to Twisted Whisker, who wants to get his stage time. It's the Tolo takeover. What's up, Twisted Whisker?
What's going on, man? I understand why you two are so far down in the upset pick challenge now.
Uh-oh.
That list of candy that both of you, I mean, that was god awful.
Are you kidding me?
That was
Reese's Cups wins it by itself. What are you talking about?
listen,
Okay,
so did
enlighten
Bryce
us
Young,
then,
so
smart
did Bryce
guy.
Young.
What's your
Reese's
list?
Cups Reese's Cups is good. I'm gonna put it at like 3.
Okay.
But we gotta go with the Nerds clusters. We gotta get some sour gummy worms.
Ooh.
We'll go with Nerds, and then we need to do Snickers was good. So Diesel's got 2. I'm gonna give Diesel 2.
I said Nerds.
But Whoppers? You said Whoppers. Just erase your list altogether. You just get out of the race.
You don't like Whoppers?
Buddy.
You don't like them?
Nobody likes Whoppers.
Oh,
Nobody
my word. I love
my
them.
2-year-old daughter. She'll eat every candy in the bucket and everything that'll be ate except for Whoppers.
Twisted Whisker,
Except for
what's the first thing you steal out of your kid's candy bucket?
Oh, it's got to be the sour gummy worms. Got to be.
sour
I'm a
gummy.
sour.
Dude. Yeah, I like sour.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good one. I'll admit that's a good. I forget about that. I forget all about. But I don't like the clusters better than the Nerds in a box. There's no way you can sell me on that.
Have you had them?
One time, I just wasn't impressed, man. I just wasn't impressed.
Right.
Hey, I'll tell you this: a Nerds rope is better than a Nerd cluster.
It's the same thing, Cole. It's the same thing and it's cut up. So your argument has just went out the window, Jerry Jones. I mean,
all right, you might have me. You might have me. You might have me. Appreciate the call, Twisted Whisker.
Yeah.
Said Marlin. Well, he did give you 2. He did give you the Reese's and the Snickers.
So I win. Let's do a little check-in here on the live poll on Twitter. The Fan Upstate on Twitter. Get your votes in for who had the best overall list. Reminding you, my picks were Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Snickers bars, peanut butter M&Ms, not peanut butter, but peanut M&Ms, Warheads, and Zero bars. Cole went Kit Kat, Nerds, Reese's Pieces,
Oh, yeah.
Starburst, and Whoppers. As of right now, Cole, I'm leading, but it's a tight race. I've got 54.5% of the vote. You've got 45.5% of the vote, and no cheating and go voting for your own name. You can't do that.
I didn't do that yet. I will though later. I will do that later.
Well, now I'm going to do it and just cancel out your stupid vote.
Oh, that's great. Good to see Contreras from the Bronx in New York on the YouTube stream. He says, hey, fellas, nice costumes. Cole acting like Bob Ross. That's actually Diesel.
Me.
Diesel.
I'm Diesel.
He's Bob Ross. Mark L.O. Duck says Tom's starting the weekend, or Tom has already started the weekend. Yeah. That's Tom for you, Mark. That's about how it goes. Mark says Diesel won. Oh, come on. I'll tell you this, though. This is bad. Texter says Raisinets are awesome. Are you kidding me?
What?
Who likes Raisinets?
Ew.
I mean, I just cannot go with that. I cannot do it. Texter says Diesel wins, but there was missed opportunities for. How are you going to say Diesel wins, but there was missed opportunities? Diesel, no, his list wasn't better. A 0 bar, that lost it for me. That lost the list.
I love 0 bars.
Come on.
I don't give a rip what you say.
Come on.
Texter on the stream, no, it's not Texter, but Madcraft on the stream says, Diesel, what's your favorite scary movie or the one that scared you the most?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh, okay. So I just watched this is not my answer. I just watched Talk to Me the other day. It was really good. It's a movie that came out like 2 years ago or
scary.
so. It's scary.
Were you scared?
Yeah, I was freaking out, man. I was really at a loss for words. No, I mean I love the classics, right? I love Friday the 13th. I love I think the scariest movie to me, based on like how old I was when I watched it, Cole, was probably like The Omen. It's a 70s horror movie.
I was
going
going
to
say, I never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All right, we have time for one, maybe two more Tolos on the Tolo Takeover, 844 fan phone. Greg in Lyman wants to voice his opinion. Greg, what's up, man?
Hey, I'm going trick-or-treating with my kid tonight.
Okay.
And I just want to give a warning to anybody who may be giving out candy tonight. Don't you dare give out those nasty flavored toffee candies. You guys know what I'm talking about? Those little like red and yellow wrapper,
yes.
Brown, nasty flavored candy. Don't even give those. They taste like crap. I don't know what they're called. I can't remember.
I know what
the
you're
name
talking
of them,
about.
but they're nasty. And I just want to give a warning to all the people out there who may have those in their buckets. Go get your bucket. Go take them out of your bucket and don't give those to people tonight. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks, Greg and Lyman. That's great. I'm with them. Those are gross. There are certain ones, and the candy corns on that list for me. Candy corn's disgusting.
Why do they even still make those? It feels like they make them just to troll us at this point.
What, candy corn?
Yeah, candy corn. They suck.
Oh, it's bad.
They suck.
It's bad.
And can we just say, if anybody out there is thinking about putting homemade candy in the box, don't do it. Don't you dare put homemade candy in the box.
I didn't know there was. Yeah, I didn't know that was.
Yeah,
a
some
thing.
people do.
No.
Some people do.
All right, we got to take a break. High school coaches spotlight next. Stay tuned to see who this week. On Thursdays, we talk to a different high school football coach in the upstate to catch up with him, see how his season is going. It is our high school coaches spotlight. Appreciate all of the coaches who have joined us thus far in 2024. Going to Anderson, South Carolina today, talking to Jason Tone, the head football coach at T.L. Hanna High School. Coach, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Cole?
We are fantastic. Appreciate you hopping on with us, Coach. Look, we all know how good T.L. Hanna's been over the years since you've been the head coach. We appreciate you taking time to join us before Friday's game. You have been there since 2019. We know how good T.L. Hanna's been since then. But, Coach, talk about this year's team, 2024. I saw you week 0, if I'm not mistaken, and just how your team started the season versus now that we're almost to the end, how you've progressed thus far.
Well, this team's had a lot of growth, and it almost feels like 2 seasons. You know, the team that we were before the hurricane break and the team we are after. You know, it's kind of a unique season. But we started the year out really inexperienced and a lot of growth needing to take place on the offense and defensive side of the ball. We graduated 8 starters on both. So we played a really difficult non-region schedule in Burns, Wren, and West Side. And I think that prepared us for our tough region as well. I do feel like we have one of the tougher Division II regions in the upper state when it comes to playoffs and seeding and that sort of thing. And I think our team has really grown and, continue to get better. I don't think we've reached our potential yet. So I still think there's some work to be done.
Coach Jason Tone, T.L. Hanna football coach, joining us here on Wire to Wire, Diesel and Cole Bryson. Coach, you said it there. You seem to have found something after you took a little bit of a break, a little bit of a slow start offensively against Burns and Westside, and then, man, you really turned it on ever since. 36 points against Wren, 49 against Woodmont, 42 against J.L. Man. You've been blowing teams out these last couple of weeks. Where does the power of this offense lie? Is it just the fact that do you have an elite offensive line? Is it running back room or receiving room, or is everybody playing their part?
Well, one of the positives is we don't have to lean on one particular group. The offense can change from year to year. If you have a really good quarterback, you can change to fit his skill sets. If you have a really good running quarterback, if you have a lot of quick runners, power runners, you can change it depending on, what your need fits. And that's, one of the positives. It's a system that we run. And I think our kids, they've run it since they were in 7th grade. So both our middle schools run it. Our C team and JV run it. And I just think it's one of those things that after a bunch of reps, they just kind of lean on, on the muscle memory, so to speak. And as the year goes on, I think we progressively get better, which is what you want as a coach. I think all coaches strive for that.
Coach, I always find it fascinating when you guys are preparing for a team, but even more fascinating when a team's preparing for you guys. We all know T.L. Hanna runs an option-style offense. As the coach of T.L. Hanna, do you feel that opponents in 1 week time, obviously some of them may have a bye and have 2 weeks to prepare, but do you feel that you can really prepare for a triple option in 1 week?
Well, I think the coaches are prepared, but, again, getting the scout team to execute it at the speed and tempo at which it needs to be done is really difficult. But, I think it's nothing new. We're not reinventing anything. So it's been around a long time, and but it has proven to win games. It's not flashy or sexy, but it does get the job done. And I do think it's very difficult to prepare for in basically 3 days, of pads. Most teams do a walkthrough type deal, on Thursday, but especially these last 2 weeks and short weeks, it's definitely an advantage for us. If you only have 1 or 2 days to prepare for it, as opposed to 3 or 4 or 5. So, I do think it gives us a slight advantage. However, it's not like we're doing anything really elaborate. It's just different.
Coach, talk about the decision to stick with that offense in your time there. I'm sure there are some who would say run an offense that's maybe a little more pro style because it prepares guys to go off and play college ball and beyond. But you're obviously winning a lot of football games. So how do you how do you manage that idea of people thinking here's what you should do to set players up versus here's what you are doing to win a lot of football games?
Well, we try to, get them involved in camps, get them out there in front of guys. The college campuses, it's all about getting on campus nowadays. But, we do stuff out of the gun as well. And there's a lot of programs, Coastal Carolina, for instance, and some of those schools that are using more gun wing tee concepts like we use. They're using that out of the gun and kind of changing the way they do things. And, we're familiar, fortunately or unfortunately, with Dutch Fork, and a lot of their run game out of the gun has wing tee concepts to it. It's just a different formation set for us as opposed to what they do.
We're talking to Jason Tolan, head football coach at TL Hanna High School. He's 51-12 as the head coach at TL Hanna. Coach, obviously a big one for you guys every single Friday, but these final two, Malden and Hillcrest, now that you've kind of felt like you've restarted that second season that you talked about, what are some things you still want to see this team get better at?
Well, we want to continue the momentum we've built. We want to make sure that we execute offensively, minimize mistakes. Early on we were getting behind the sticks a lot because of our inexperience, whether it was holdings or false starts or just substitution, just different things. So I'm looking for us to continue to execute in all three phases. The last couple of games we've done really well in special teams, whether it's return game, whether it's the extra point field goal block or punt block and things like that. So looking for us to continue to win the special teams battle and get better in that. And then defensively continuing to improve our tackling percentage. It's all about tackling in space. So we've got to make sure that we swarm the football and make sure we get the guy on the ground and not miss tackles or loaf to where we think somebody else is making the play and then wind up out of position because we're relying on somebody else to do it instead of sprinting to the ball. So just looking to get better at the little things, late in the year, really honing in on our fundamentals and growing together as a team.
Coach, you've won a lot of football games at TL Hanna. You've won, more than 10 games 3 times in your tenure there. And every season, you've had a winning season every year you've been there. Can you talk about the pressure from the TL Hanna fan base and those who came before you, coaches, players, families, et cetera, to keep up that level of excellence because you're doing a fantastic job of it?
Well, the community is very supportive. I couldn't ask for better families that help us and fan base that want to support us and take care of our guys. The pressure comes that, what we put on ourselves, and nobody's going to put as much pressure as I put on myself to make sure that this program is playing at an elite level and that we make sure that all aspects, not just on the football field, but off the football field, in the classroom, in the community, in the weight room, those things, because ultimately we want them to be better husbands, fathers, and young men in the community as they grow up. So nobody puts as much pressure on us as I do and our coaches do so that we can make sure that we're investing in these young men's lives for the future.
Coach, when you look at post-Hurricane play, you beat Woodmont 49-21, but that J.O. Man game, I host Saturday Scramble on Saturday mornings and get a lot of fan reaction. It seemed like that J.O. Man game was a game that surprised a lot of people. 42-20 win for TL Hanna over J.O. Man. Do you feel like that was the game that kind of flipped the script, if you will, and really got you guys catapulted to the next level?
Well, it's definitely a big win for us. Our kids were locked in that week, very focused, communicating well, and that we played our most complete game. That game, special teams, we had a kick return inside the 20. We answered every time they got momentum. So they scored first. We ran the kickoff back inside the 20 and answered, and then we ran another kickoff back after they scored again, so we were up 21. They scored to cut it within 2 scores, and then we ran the kickoff back and answered. So defensively, we scored. They snapped the ball after we punted them deep inside the 10. They snapped the ball over the quarterback's head, and the defense scored. So it was just one of those games that, it's not like we dominated offensively, but defensively, we didn't miss many tackles. They have an unbelievably talented team that puts you in conflict in space. And we didn't miss many tackles. We executed really well, caused some turnovers, and just played really, really solid fundamentally as a team. And that's where it came from. And I think, that momentum is what I'm trying to build on. It's like a snowball downhill. We're just trying to get it bigger and bigger.
Coach Jason Tone, TL Hanna football head coach here on the show, Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson. Coach, they say you learn more in a loss more times than you do in a win. And, if you look back to the West Side and the Greenwood games, both of those teams held you down to 20 and 21 points respectively. What did you learn about your team in those two games? What did those two teams do against you defensively that you really have been able to learn a lot from and take it into these last 4 or 5 weeks where you've been dominant since?
Well, we've just learned, that we have to lean on each other, and offensively, we physically didn't come to that game prepared. They handled us on the line of scrimmage on both of those games, and that was just something that I got to do a better job of, putting us in better situations. But our kids learned from it. Like I said, the West Side game was our entire offensive line was new. So they had 4 quarters under them, and that was it. So just learning from those things and not getting behind the sticks, not, when somebody moves or changes, not getting, just flustered or not knowing what to do. So those things and the reps and reps and reps that we've gotten, in the Greenwood game, we learned that we got to finish. We were up 2 scores. We were up 11 points at the end of the third quarter, going not quite into the fourth quarter. They scored right there at the end of the third quarter, but we're up 11 points, and then they found a way to claw back and just trying to figure out how to finish, and make sure that when we do have a lead, we don't relinquish it. And, I think our kids, again, have learned from those tough losses and have bounced back. And, it shows our character the way we've been able to, because we've had some highs and lows. This hasn't been a easy season, so to speak. There's been some good and some bad. Like I said, the hurricane kind of divided. It's almost like it's 2 seasons now. So we're just kind of, like I said, riding that momentum of the second half and trying to put the first half of the season and learning from those lessons, not dwelling on it, but learning from it so that we don't repeat it.
Coach, my last question for you. Your thoughts, I know you haven't really experienced it fully yet, but your thoughts, how you feel about 5A having 2 divisions now, also using a new system for the postseason with RPI rankings, determining where you'll be seated.
Well, I'm not smart enough to figure out all the rankings and how that goes playoff-wise. I'll just go or stay home and play whoever they tell us to play. But, I think it's kind of neat. It's different from since I've been here, 2017. It's been a little bit different a couple of times, but I've never had it where there was 2, like a split division where you're all in the same region, and it does affect region seeding, but then you separate for the playoffs. So I don't really know how it's going to work. I can't say that I'm pleased or mad about it. I just kind of, it is what it is. And we're just going to move on from there. It's what's out there. It's what's been voted on. And so we're going to make the best of it. It's kind of my thought process going into it.
Jason Tone, TL Hanna, head football coach. Coach, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you giving the opportunity for the Tolos listening to get to know you a little bit better. I know a lot of them, especially down in the Anderson area, they know you well. We've had 3 or 4 people text into the show just over the last 10 minutes and say, I love Coach Tone. So we appreciate your time and good luck this Friday night against Malden.
Thank you so much, and go Jackets.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. That is Coach Jason Tone, head coach.
He's really good, man.
The TL Hanna.
Really good.
Yep. And look, they found something at TL Hanna. You go back to Jeff Herron, who was there before him, excellent head coach in 2 seasons. Looks like he went 25-2.
Yeah.
Prior to
really
that, Cole,
good,
things were up and down for a number of years at TL Hanna. You got to go back to the early 2000s to find really dominant seasons. And I know that's the standard at TL Hanna. They expect to be a very, very good football team, but they've found something. And now look at that place. As a coach, if you're an up-and-coming coach, you want to get the job at TL Hanna and expect to win there.
The footsteps that he had to follow with Jeff Herron were really big footsteps, and then Coach Herron retired, and Jason Tone has done an incredible job. As I mentioned, 6 seasons. He was an assistant for 2 years, 51-12 in 2 seasons, 3 region championships. What makes playing TL Hanna so tough is exactly what we just talked about, man. They're a triple option team, and Diesel, I talk about it a lot on Saturdays, but these triple option teams, man, they get better as the year goes on. He mentioned it. They just continue to gel. They do what they do. And I asked him the question about defending triple option football. He said it. High school teams really have 3 days, right? You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because Thursday is like a walkthrough. It's a very, very light practice. It is incredibly challenging. And I know that a lot of athletes out there don't want to play in a triple option offense because it's not a me offense. It's a we offense, right? It's all about what we're doing collectively, because if one piece isn't working, then the offense doesn't work. But I still do love that teams like TL Hanna and coaches like Jason Tone still run the triple option because it makes it fun when you have – I called Burns TL Hanna week 0. It is challenging calling triple option offense play-by-play. I can't imagine how it is actually having to coach against it. And the last thing I'll say, Brent Venables, when he was at Clemson, I remember he had a quote when they were playing Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was still running an option. Somebody asked him one day what his philosophy on playing against triple option football was. It was my favorite quote, Diesel. He said, when we play against the triple option, we coach our guys to tackle everybody. Because if you tackle everybody, one of them will have the football. And he meant that. Literally, you tackle everybody. Offensively, it's tough to defend.
When we come back, Cole, let's jump into our daily wires. We were supposed to do it an hour ago.
Yeah,
But we didn't
Halloween
have a chance
talk,
to. Yeah, we talk Halloween, and the segment just blew right past. So let's get to our daily wires on the other side next on the Fan Upstate. Cole, we've had so much fun talking about candy in the World Series today that we haven't even gotten to our daily wires. This is the buzz. This is the sputtering buzz. This is the buzz happening around the sports world. The Dodgers won Game 5 last night, clinching the World Series 7-6. That is their 8th championship, and it all came off the backs of an awful 5th inning for the New York Yankees. Cole, here was the first thing we thought would get the Yankees really going. Aaron Judge hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first to make it 2-zip.
Fastball driven the other way. Sleeping Giant has awoken. So, Joe, what do you think it told him?
And then the sleeping giant hit the snooze button, Cole, because in the 5th inning, this happened.
The heating up Judge, who settles under this ball, but then drops it. Can Hernandez get to the bag before the throw? He does. On a routine play, Aaron Judge just flubs it in center field.
You know, you just would not expect Diesel the game that the Yankees have 3 errors and Aaron Judge having his first error of the entire 2024 season. You wouldn't expect that to be in Game 5 of the World Series. Look, the Yankees choked last night. There's no other way to put it. They had a big lead, and they absolutely choked it away. And if you win that game, all of a sudden it's 3-2, going back to L.A. It's a brand new series. The Yankees choked.
Yeah, here's how that how that inning went down and the scoring happened. Mookie Betts singled, Hernandez scored and moved runners up. Then Freddie Freeman singled, 2 score. Betts moved up to 3rd, and then Teoscar Hernandez doubles, and Betts and Freeman score. So it was just an ugly inning for the New York Yankees defensively. Like, the wheels fell off. Everything went wrong for the New York Yankees defensively in that inning. In the World Series, Shohei Ohtani went 2 for 19. 105 was his batting average, 2 runs, 2 walks. Didn't stop SportsCenter, though, from posting a graphic with Shohei sitting on top of the world, a player who didn't do anything. I thought it was unnecessary, and they should have featured Freddie Freeman, who was named the World Series MVP. He has donated his spikes to the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
How about that?
Yeah, so you're going to be able to see, if you ever go up to the Hall of Fame, you'll be able to see a handful of mementos from this World Series.
That's pretty cool.
The LAPD announced, Cole, that 12 people were arrested during World Series celebrations. A Metro Transit Authority bus was lit on fire. Arrests were on charges such as failure to disperse, receiving stolen property, and commercial burglary. No injuries were reported.
And these were Dodger fans.
Yeah, I can't fathom being so excited that your team won a World Series that you say, hey, let me go smash a window and see if I can steal a TV.
Yeah, I've never had that
toaster oven.
Never had that thought run through my head before.
Never once? The Upset Picks Challenge is active and open, Tolos. Don't forget to send yours in. We need your name, your game, and the spread. You've got just about an hour left in the show today to get us your Week 10 upset picks. Scores in college football last night. Jacksonville State has now made 2 in a row that Liberty has lost.
What's wrong with Liberty?
Final score 31-21.
And Liberty was the favorite.
Yeah.
What's Jamie
But nobody
Chadwell?
took that game.
Nobody took it.
No.
Nobody thought Liberty would lose twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row. I mean, Jamie Chadwell's had an easy schedule, and they've lost 2 in a row. That's I'll tell you what, man, I would have lost a lot of money those 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that App State didn't play Liberty, because they probably would have smoked us by 30 and then lost the following week to Kennesaw.
No.
Yeah. Speaking of Kennesaw State, they lost 14-31 to the Western Kentucky. What's their mascot?
Hilltoppers.
There you go. 14
How
to 31.
did I know that? That was so luck. That was 100% luck.
Well, it doesn't make any sense because their mascot is a hilltopper. Their logo is a hand swinging a white terrible towel, and they're on the field like man in a plush costume is like a big red blob. I'm not really sure what it is.
Yeah, can't decide who the mascot is.
Figure it out, guys. This isn't Auburn where you get to be the Tigers and the Eagles at the same time. Brian Pettit and Taylor from Easley both took Kennesaw State, Western Kentucky. Neither one of them scored any points.
Oof.
Tonight, we've got college football. Tulane, a 6-2 football team at 3-5 Charlotte. So that'll be on later on this evening. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that the Kansas City Currents ownership group, that would be a women's soccer team there, which includes Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and his wife Brittany, are in talks with the WNBA to potentially bring a franchise to Kansas City.
Be pretty cool.
Yeah, the WNBA is expanding. They currently have 12 teams. They already have plans to go to 15 teams over the next few seasons, and they aim to add a 16th by 2028. Cole, last night in the association, the Charlotte Hornets beat the Toronto Raptors 138-133. The Hornets are now 2-2 on the very young season. Center Nick Richards led the team with 24 points. LaMelo Ball scored at 19 points. They got a lot of contribution off the bench as well.
They're playing, look, first-year coach, there's still a long way to go. Early 4 games, they're playing better. Like, they were just so bad last year at times. Sometimes it didn't matter who the coach was and what improvement they made. It'd still be better than what they were. But, I like Charles Lee. I think they're going to be okay. They still need talent, but I'm not going to cast them to the side quite yet.
And finally, Cole, the Atlanta Braves have traded right fielder Jorge Soler to the Angels for right-handed pitcher Griffin Canning. No money will change hands, but the Angels will take on the remaining 2 years and $26 million Soler is owed.
Well, let's go get Juan Soto, Braves.
Please.
Or keep Max Fried. Either one of those would be good options.
Why can't we do both?
I don't know. It'd be a lot of money. I doubt it. The Braves aren't going to spend that kind of money. But we will talk college football, particularly Furman football. Next, Clay Hendrix, the head ball coach of the Furman Paladins, joins us right here on the Fan Upstate. Time to talk a little Furman Paladins football as we do on Thursdays right here on the Fan Upstate. We bring in the head football coach of the Paladins, Coach Clay Hendrix. Coach, we appreciate you hopping on as always, but we didn't get to talk to you last week because of the bye week. Talk about what the bye week did or could do for this football team after a 2-5 start.
Well, I mean, I think it was a productive week. You know, I know you try to heal a little bit. Unfortunately, a lot of the guys that we don't have, I don't think we'll get back. But we will get a couple of guys back we didn't have. You know, and I think this team where we are, we need to continue to develop and work. And so we had 2 good days of practice and another good day of kind of a team conditioning, got a couple of days of rest, and then came back Sunday and we just stuck with our normal schedule this week. So again, I think this group practices pretty well. It's something we got to continue to improve that, and hopefully
were around for last year's magical season, especially for those guys, for the freshmen. How do you keep those players engaged and remind them to trust the process?
Well, I think you lean on your leadership, and certainly we don't have a lot of seniors. I mean, I think we have 1 graduate in our 2 deep, and there's maybe 4 seniors in our 2 deep. So, you know, but I mean, you don't have to be a senior to be a leader. I think, you know, I think they've been bought into just trusting the process and continuing. But, you know, eventually what you got to do, you got to be able to do it on the field, you know, and get to a point where you expect to go play well. I mean, I think that's the thing I've been harping on them is, you know, I think they're doing the things we need to do to continue to improve and get better. And, you know, you wish they certainly could grow up a lot faster and get a little more experience a lot sooner, but it's a process. And again, I've been pleased with that. You know, we continue to harp things off the field, whether it's school, whether it's the things we do in the weight room, they carry over to what we do on the field. And, you know, just trying to trust that aspect of it. It's worked for us for a good while. And, you know, right now we're sticking to the plan.
Coach, you know, you've been doing this a long time, so it's nothing new here when you have years like this where you're 2-5, and you mentioned it, Diesel mentioned it, young players and trying to get them to grow up. As you've done this, though, year after year after year, do you as a head coach almost take joy in the process? Because you never know when, you know, it could be your last year coaching. Obviously, you want to win every game, but do you find joy in the process of the difficult times like you're going through right now with your team?
You know, I actually do, and probably more so the older I've gotten. You know, I enjoy the developmental aspect of it. And, you know, I've said forever here, we're as a developmental program as it gets. You know, we're not a place that can go get transfer kids. Even if we wanted to get a lot of them, it just wouldn't work here. I think anytime you're at one of the academic places, you know, where you're truly held to some standards, you have some different challenges, you know, which there's a lot of positives in there as well. But I don't know. Like, again, we're confident in the process we have. You know, we had our entire staff back from, you know, 2 really good teams back to back, and they didn't forget how to coach, you know, and we've had to adjust. Our personnel is certainly a little different, you know, not only from a lack of experience, but just the skill level's a little different. So it's been a process to figure that out. We're playing with a true freshman quarterback, and I've done that a little bit over the years, not very much, and it's just a process, and but I kind of enjoy that aspect of it.
Coach, I want to talk about a couple of the players that you're going to face this coming Saturday as you take on the VMI Keydets. They've got a heck of a running back that they seem to lean on quite a bit, Hunter Rice. He's got 126 carries on the season, 4 touchdowns. They've also got a wide receiver, Ivan Thorpe, that averaged 9 yards of reception last year. He's down just a little bit to 7 yards of reception this year. In what ways do those 2 guys specifically present challenges for you?
Well, Hunter Rice has been there a long time. He's been a really good player for them throughout his entire career. He's a big body. You know, they'll use him in the Wildcat. They'll throw it to him. Do a lot of different things to get him the ball. They've always done a good job with their receivers. I think a little bit like us. You know, they've at times they've played 3 different quarterbacks, and they're all 3 young guys. So I think, you know, they're a little bit like us, trying to figure it out a little bit. And I don't know. I think anytime you go up there and play, if you've ever been there, it's a, you know, typical military school. You go there and play. It creates its own little environment. It's a place we've played well. You know, I've played against them a lot of times. So, you know, it's just a matter of, again, I think for us, it just comes back to us and worrying about us and doing the things we have to do. And again, the thing I just been harping on is just, we got to get to the point where we expect to go do those things. And, you know, I think when you're a little bit young, you kind of think you can, and you may be hoping you can. But, you know, at some point we got to flip the switch and expect it. And, you know, I'll be disappointed if we don't get to that point here sooner rather than later.
Coach Hendrix, the head football coach of the Furman Paladins. Coach, my next question, you mentioned VMI being a service academy football program. You've coached against a lot of those over the years. Is there anything they do that you've noticed that kind of sticks out among other service academy football programs?
No, I don't know. I think, you know, like I said, I played against the Citadel and VMI a bunch, and then I spent 10 years at the Air Force Academy. I coached in 20 service academy games in Army, Navy, Air Force. And, you know, it's the nature of the training they go through. A lot of leadership training takes place. The discipline aspect of it, which certainly as a football coach you love. You know, and I think you would see bits and pieces of that in our program. Certainly we're not a military school, but the discipline aspect of it and all those things you're trying to build upon, which helps you have a better football team. So I think it naturally helps them, you know, in that regard. And, you know, and then continuing to develop, you know, Danny Rocco, a guy that's won everywhere he's ever been now in his second year there, have a great respect for, you know, the job he's done. And, you know, they're going to fight to the bitter end. So you're going to get their best shot, and we certainly need to have ours ready to go too.
Coach, still a couple of weeks to go in the season, and then, of course, you roll straight into recruiting season. Things never end out there. We had a high school coach on with us earlier, the high school coach down at Hanna, where they run a triple option. And I just wonder, from you as a coach at the college level, do you specifically, you know, seek out and target programs that run a system similar to what you run so that you can get guys in who already understand the concepts? Or do you like to cast a wider net and try to find those guys that can bring something a little bit different from what you do?
You know, for us, you know, we start with the academic side of it, which, if to be honest with you, if we get 10 names, we probably can eliminate 8 or 9 of them just based on admission standards. So that's where it starts, which obviously makes the pool a lot smaller. But I don't know, you know, we're not unique enough. I've been, when I was at the academy and some places, maybe, and if you're running a little more triple option doing things, you're looking for guys that, particularly at certain positions, have done those things. I don't know. I just think you're looking for talent. You're looking for playmakers. I think we're all looking for length and size and athleticism. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you watch the high school tape, and as we tell our players, you are what you put on tape, and the tape doesn't lie. So I think that's where it starts. You know, like I said, we feel like we've recruited well. We're just playing with a lot more of them a lot sooner than we thought we would. We don't have a lot of spots. We won't lose very many guys, you know, in this next cycle. And, you know, we're kind of almost done with this class. You know, can't sign them until early December. But, you know, for us, it's still going to be about recruiting high school kids and then developing them. You know, we won't be immune to, we'll certainly look. There's ability to add a grad transfer or somebody that could maybe help us, but there won't be a lot of that.
Coach, I want to follow up on what you just said there about signing day. You know, the ruling came down a few weeks ago that the NCAA was going to leave the 2 transfer portal windows open, and not the portal windows, the signing windows. Do you like having multiple signing windows, or would you rather get it all done at one go?
I don't know. I'm fine with the 2. We've done very little in the second one. I think everything's happened sooner and sooner. I think there are a lot less opportunities now for high school kids because, you know, there are a lot of people are recruiting solely from the portal. But no, I mean, we would like to be done in December. I don't know. We may hold a spot or two, for us, even if it was a normal transfer where you're trying to get a kid in mid-year, either be a grad kid, even here it's kind of hard to flip that in a short period of time, and just from getting them admitted. So, but again, right now we feel good at where we are. We're going to try to hold on to the ones that tell us they're coming, and and then I don't know. We may have some spots open. You never know. It's a crazy world out there right now, and we haven't dealt with a lot of that. I don't anticipate it, but if it does and when it does, we'll deal with it.
Clay Hendrix, the head football coach of the Furman Paladins, joining us on Wire to Wire. Coach, when you talk about the loss before the bye, 52-20 to Western, obviously I hear it from coaches a lot. You flush and you move on. But my question for you is, when you have a loss like that, where things kind of get away from you late in the game and Western, goes up by a good margin, how quickly do you flush it? Or are you still spending time kind of learning and taking things away for your team to get better on?
Well, I think you better learn that you don't like that feeling, and fortunately we hadn't been in that situation a lot. And, I think both of those games, I think we played where we were from a personnel standpoint. Those two teams probably a little better than us, but not to a point where the game got. And, somewhere there in the, I think the one game was 10-7, and we get a roughing the punter and a roughing the quarterback on a 4th and 15, a 3rd and 15, and the whole thing kind of flipped on us. And then somewhere there in the third quarter, we've let it get away from us, and through giving up a couple of big plays. I don't know. Again, I think you just stayed the course. I will say this: the one good thing, our kids, I think, have continued to hang in there and fight and compete. But that's great, but you still got to be able to go execute, and I think that's the thing we're having to learn.
Coach, we were having a little fun earlier in the show doing a draft of our favorite Halloween candies, and I'm sure for years you've been picking candy out of kids and grandkids' Halloween buckets. I want to go down the list of ours, and you tell me where we messed up. What did we leave off the list? I went Reese's peanut butter cups, Snickers, peanut M&Ms, Warheads, and Zeros candy bars. Cole went Kit Kats, Nerds, Reese's Pieces, Starburst, and Whoppers. Number one, which one had the better candy bag, and what did we leave out?
Who was first?
I was first.
You had the better bag.
Oh.
we got the. I'm probably a little more into the chocolate and the nuts than I am into
the fruit flavors. Yeah.
The fruit, yeah. I'm kind of. My go-to would be peanut M&Ms. So yeah.
Coach,
we had a kid had one here today, and I grabbed one of his little packs out of it. So
Good work, Coach. A great time as always chatting with you. We appreciate your time, and best of luck this weekend, Coach.
Hey, thank you. Great being with you guys.
That's Clay Hendrix. Always fantastic to talk a little Furman Paladin football, even if he does sign with you, Diesel, on your peanut M&Ms.
Well,
it's okay.
When you're right,
okay.
You're right. It is what it is. No, I was at that Western Carolina game. I was lucky to have been invited out. Had a great time. They gave me a jersey that I could actually put on because it's a lineman's jersey, right? Like people don't realize just how friggin' small football jerseys are now. They're so tight that
you got to show your guns.
Yeah, you're going to show your gut if you're not a skinny guy. But Furman had a chance, and they were in that game early. Kind of a slow start for both teams, and then Furman busted one open. I think they returned a punt. I think it was a return punt or return kickoff. I can't remember which for, like 97 yards. It was a heck of a return. And man, that was just like a spark for that Furman team. And I really thought Furman was going to have something for them. And then they just had a couple of penalties, a couple of mistakes, pushed them back, killed some drives. And then, man, they couldn't get off the mat, and Western Carolina just kept scoring. Western Carolina, very good football team.
That made it, the kickoff return made it 14-6. And the next thing you know, it was 31.
It was wide open. Yeah.
And after that, never looked back. Western's good. They're always competitive. And appreciate Coach Hendrix hopping on with us because, look, he said it. I think he hit the nail on the head, and that's why I asked him, Diesel, about, kind of finding joy in the process. I kind of assumed that would be his answer because he's been coaching for such a long time. As you get older, you appreciate life, right? The good and the bad. And nobody wants to appreciate the bad times, as a football coach or whatever it is. But you do find joy in like getting better and getting back to the basics. Burns is the same way right now. They're 3-5 on the season. It's not a lot of fun calling losing games, but it is fun seeing, small areas of progress. And as a coach, I know you want to win, but sometimes you have to go through those tough storms.
I mean, what was the big narrative last night when the Dodgers won the World Series? They were talking about all the times they were close, all the times they got into the NLCS, all the times they got into the divisional series and they lost. And so they talk about the process of a team, finding those pieces, putting together the right team and then popping. Like that's their year. And Furman's going to take another year. Hopefully it's next year, right? Hopefully they get a little age on them. They get a little experience on them. And next year they really take a step forward because Furman was a lights out football team last year. They were a good, very, very good team.
And they were old too.
So veteran. You lose a lot of veteran guys, especially, as coach says, you can't not make a big point out of that. The academic standards that they have to go through, a lot of guys just get eliminated.
Hey, before we run to a break, Diesel, I want to ask a question to the Tolos out there. We've spent a lot of time today talking about Halloween candy, but where in the upstate that you're listening right now, where are the best places to go? Don't worry, Diesel and I, we're not going to come dress up and knock on doors, even though it would be fun. Where are you, Tolos, going to trick or treat? What are the neighborhoods? You always kind of targeted out those neighborhoods, right? As a kid, you always kind of knew what neighborhoods to go to, what neighborhoods not to go to. You didn't want to get shot in some, right? So you stayed out of those, Diesel, but you knew what neighborhoods had the best candy. So I'm asking you, Tolos, which neighborhoods, which part of town, which part of the upstates have the best candy? Because
let's be real, you got to go to the fancy neighborhoods.
You got to go to the little upper class.
Yeah, they're the ones that give you the full-size candy bars.
Those are good.
First of all,
good.
Who are these people? What are you doing with your life that you just say, you know what? I'm going to go buy a case of full-size Snickers bars or full-size Butterfinger bars. Like, no point in my life did my parents ever say, we're going to go buy the full-size and then just give them away.
Well, you can buy more quantity of the smaller, right? And it lasts a lot longer.
Texter says, I'm going to get drunk at Yeehaw Brewing, downtown Greenville. It's a fun bar. That's where I saw Furman beat Virginia.
Never been there.
Oh, it's a good
Never
time.
been to Yeehaw. Is it like a kind of like a what's the other one in Greenville I went to a couple of weeks ago? Downtown. Gather? Is it Gather Greenville?
Well, I mean, it's only one restaurant, but it's a brew pub, and they've got a lot of room outside. They've got AstroTurf
TVs?
laid out. They've got a huge projection TV. A huge projection TV. They've got, they string up those porch lights everywhere. They've got, I think they've got a little fire pit outside. They've got Adirondack chairs. It's a really good spot. It's a good spot.
Sounds like.
So
thanks for the invite, by the way.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Thanks, Tolo.
Hey, the band Pop Evil is playing at the Hall at Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium tonight. So
do you expect me to know who that is?
Pop Evil? Yeah, probably. If I played you a song, you might know.
You think so?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. When we come back, Cole, I found this on CBS.com, a ranking of the first-year NFL head coaches. Some doing really well, some not so much. Let's see if we can find the patterns and figure out what the Carolina Panthers can do to change this going into next year. That's coming up next on the Fan Upstate. Some might say, Cole, that it was a foolish decision to bring in a first-year head coach, pair him with a second-year quarterback who was horrible in his first year in the NFL, and then sell off everything of value midway through the season.
Well, to me, it sounds like a great plan, Diesel. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's brilliant.
Hey, we talked to Mark Schlereth yesterday. We're going to replay that interview for you tomorrow on the show, where Mark Schlereth said, look, you're not going to rebuild this team in free agency. You need to build as many picks as you possibly can, which is what scares me, Cole, about what the Carolina Panthers might do with their inevitable top 5 pick.
Yeah.
This the next year. I mean, they're trending to a number 1 overall pick. Hopefully they don't do something stupid and trade back. But according to Mark Schlereth, look, if you can trade back and stay in the top half of the first round, let's just say for the sake of argument, that you could trade back to 10 and pick up another late first rounder or an early second rounder, then you've got some value there. Now you can add, 3 picks in the first and second rounds.
Maybe.
And one or two of them are probably going to hit
though.
one of. Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, but then again, Cole, what are the Carolina Panthers going to do with the number 1 overall pick?
Well,
probably take a quarterback.
No, listen, if you told me you could have 2 first rounders for the Panthers, because I know that this discussion we're having now, it's a lot of what ifs. If you told me you could have 2 first rounders instead of 1 early, I'd take it. But I think the situation would have to be right. It'd have to be right. I don't know about going too far diesel back in the second round. I mean, my God, it was 5 months ago we were having this conversation.
Don't take a late second round pick.
No, you've got to be smart about it. I do find it interesting, though, that you brought up Mark Schlereth's answer. I think he's right. Like, you do have to rebuild this team with some draft picks. I'm not pushing back on that. The only thing I would say that I would add in there, if you want this team to get better, you've got to add some veterans who have been there, done that. You've got to be a little competitive in free agency. Now, no, you're not going to get veterans on a horrible team. You just traded away your best receiver. I understand that. But once you, Diesel, start building up some draft picks and getting some talent, you got to have some vets in there.
So, Cole, I found a list ranking the top 8 first-year head coaches in the NFL in 2024.
The how many? No,
8. Ooh, 8. Well, 8 with an asterisk. Okay. Really, it's 6. It's 6.
Okay.
But I'm going to see if we can spot some of the glaring reasons why some of these coaches are where they are, and see if we can spot some of the patterns here. Okay. So would you rather me go 8 to 1 or 1 to 8?
And these, before I answer, these are ranked how? Based on the best seasons?
It was based on it's an opinion based, but there's metrics to go with.
Okay. Yeah, go 8 to 1.
8 to 1.
8
okay.
to 1. Let's start with the worst.
Worst rookie coach in the NFL, Dave Canales. It's hard to argue why he's not any higher. But he's 1-7. His team's 1-7. He's got the 32nd ranked in the NFL point differential. The Carolina Panthers are minus 147.
It's not good.
They've been outscored by 147 points this season. So Dave Canales, bottom of the barrel. Then again, like we just talked about, you get Bryce Young. You got an iffy running back room at best.
Mm-hmm.
Not like they're great, right? It's not like Chuba Hubbard is lighting up the scoreboard.
Yeah.
You have a rookie wide receiver. Your best wide receiver is like 35 years old, and he got hurt. And then you traded off your presumptive number 1 option after Adam Thielen goes down and Deontay Johnson. So you got nothing.
No.
You got no talent on your roster.
It's hard to disagree with that.
You got a bunch of guys that were signed off of waiver wires, for crying out loud.
So he's 8.
So he's 8.
Before I tell you he should or shouldn't be 8, tell me who 7 is.
Brian Callahan of the Tennessee Titans. He's 1-6.
Ooh.
A minus 76 point differential, which is 31st in the NFL.
So they're neck and neck.
So I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. 31st and 32nd point differentials in the NFL are separated by roughly 70 points.
God.
I mean, the Carolina Panthers are that much worse.
I didn't know. You didn't have to say that.
76 versus
that makes them sound really bad.
Really bad.
Really,
They're giving
really
up
bad.
a ton of points and they can't score.
Good gracious.
And that's even with the couple of games where Andy Dalton, the one win, and then the 2 games where I think they put up a decent number of points. They were competitive in those football games. But you have to add in a couple of major blowouts that are embarrassing.
That is that's pretty embarrassing. So we're splitting hairs between 8 and 7.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with
Let me go down the list and we'll see if there's some glaring issues here.
Okay.
Number 6 on this list, Raiders, Antonio Pierce. 2-6.
Yeah.
Minus 66 point differential. The Raiders are not good this year either.
No, they're not.
Number 5 on the list, Gerard Mayo with the Patriots, 2-6. He's got a negative 73 point differential. Number 4 on the list is Mike McDonald with the Seattle Seahawks. They're 4-4.
Yeah.
They've only got a minus 5 point differential. So the Seattle Seahawks are real close. Real close. After that, Cole, you go up to number 3, Raheem Morris with the Falcons. He's 5-3. They're minus 1 point. They're a good football team. And then, Cole, this is why there's asterisk on these 2 names. Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers and Dan Quinn with the Commanders. Both of those guys have been head coaches before. Both of them are plus 500. So, look, the big glaring issue and the big glaring pattern here is 4 of those teams, the 4 worst teams on this list, the Panthers, Titans, Raiders, and Patriots, don't have a clue who the quarterback is.
Yeah, and you got to have a quarterback.
They got massive issues there, right? The Panthers have issues. Titans, Raiders, Patriots, they all have issues at the quarterback position and can't figure it out.
I don't know, though. I'm looking at your list now. So starting at the bottom where you started, Diesel, with Dave Canales and Brian Callahan, look, you throw those 2 in a bucket, shake the bucket up and throw the dice. You know how when you roll the dice, you shake them and you roll the dice? Either one, right? You pick. Both of them are horrible. Both of them have had terrible seasons, Diesel. So I don't push back there. I think that's right. Now, I will say this, though, on Antonio Pierce. I think Antonio Pierce may be a better coach than Gerard Mayo, than Mike McDonald, maybe than Raheem Morris. I was high. I liked the Antonio Pierce hire by the Raiders. I really did. I know the Panthers beat the Raiders, for crying out loud. If you lose to the Carolina Panthers in 2024, you're down bad. I get that. But I don't know, if you're asking me, Diesel, to go ahead and hit the panic button on one of these coaches right now or any of these coaches and just cast them to the wolves and say it's over, maybe on Brian Callahan, maybe on Dave Canales. But the rest of them, I'd say the jury's still out. And a lot of that probably has to do with what they have. I don't have much belief in Dave or Brian. I mean, both of them stink right now. So maybe, if we're having to hit the panic button, I might hit it on Dave and Brian.
What I'm fascinated by is the fact that the Panthers are trying the exact same thing that the Panthers tried last year, the same thing that the Commanders are doing this year. You got a veteran head coach and a rookie quarterback, Frank Reich and Bryce Young, and of course Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels and Bryce Young, completely different quarterbacks, which to me, Cole, I know a lot of Carolina Panthers don't want to hear this, kind of exonerates a little bit of Frank Reich's issues. Now, I mean, we can't say, we can't necessarily say ownership issues. I understand the Commanders have improved in that area, and the Carolina Panthers still find themselves down in a hole.
Sure.
But there's some similarities in the way these 2 teams were structured last year and this year, which I think takes some of the pressure off of, or some of the blame off of Frank Reich.
Who do you think, though, on that list, when you look at those coaches you listed? Let's do this. Who do you feel best about? Who do you feel worst about? Because I'd say right now,
taking Harbaugh and Quinn off.
Taking Harbaugh and Quinn off, those 2 don't count because you said it. They're good. They're proven. Not only are they, Diesel, not only have they been head coaches before, they're proven head coaches, right? Dan Quinn has played for a Super Bowl. We all know what Jim Harbaugh has done. Taking those 2 off, it's very difficult to find one. I don't really feel good about Gerard Mayo. I kind of feel good about Antonio Pierce, but taking those two off, who do you feel good about? That's tough.
I don't feel that awful about Gerard Mayo simply because he knew that he couldn't rush a rookie quarterback out there. He knew that he had to give he knew that he had to give Drake May some time. So he knew he didn't have the best option in quarterback in at New England, but he still sat Drake May anyway. So when I look at decision-making skills and knowing what you have on your team, recognizing what you have on your team, and not pushing players out there who are not ready, I give Gerard Mayo a little bit of a bump there.
So I would say Gerard Mayo is the one I feel most confident about. I would say he is. I do look. They're 2-6. You're not going to look at any 2-6 team and say, "Oh, they did a good job." But just like we talked about a minute ago with Clay Hendrix, sometimes you can look at areas of a team and say, okay, well, they're going to be fine here. Like, they're getting better here. It's difficult to pick one of those, 6? But I think I'd go with Gerard. That is a tough question, though. I don't have a lot of faith in any of them right now. They're all unproven.
And you got 4 guys there at the bottom of the barrel, like I said, who don't have a quarterback situation figured out. Mike McDonald has Geno Smith. Raheem Morris has their quarterback situation figured out there in Atlanta. So that when you have the quarterback situation, when you have quarterback figured out, you can build around that and not have to also say, here's the most important player on the field.
What?
That's your chair.
Sure. Did you think I'd pass gas?
I thought so, baby.
I'll do it again.
I was like, dang,
I'll do it again. Diesel. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I wonder if they can hear it. Anyways,
I'm sure they can.
To your point, and we're going to go to Scotty from BMW real quick. To your point, the two that are having success, what do they have? Quarterbacks.
Yep.
They've got quarterbacks. They got good quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels and Herbert. So we know those two. Having a quarterback matters. It really does. Before we run to a break, Diesel, Scotty from BMW wants to give his upset pick. Scotty, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Love the show. Thought I'd call in today at price. I want Vanderbilt over Auburn, 7.5 points.
What made you pick that one?
Wasn't Vanderbilt ranked like last week?
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
And now they're unranked, and they definitely have a great chance in this game to cover that.
Appreciate the call, Scotty.
He's a Hugh Freeze hater, too, I'm sure.
Well, didn't you earlier say you like that pick?
I do like that pick. I think that's a good one. They've got a quarterback situation figured out. And Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia, look, man, you're running out of time. Diego Pavia is what, a grad transfer or a senior? He's running out of time, man. And
running out of time.
Go make that money while you can, my friend.
Speaking of running out of time, we're out of time on this break, but one more segment to go, Diesel. I'll ask you a question in the next segment. We've made our upset picks. But if I gave you a mulligan, which team, which game would you pick if I said pick another one other than the one you picked? Tolos, you can play along as well. 71307, start your text with the word fan. But we're back. Sorry about that, Diesel.
Hey-o.
That's what you called a what do you call that? A
oopsie?
Cold. Yeah, besides the oopsie, I put the
cold open?
A cold open. Is that what it is? Or I don't know. I don't know what I've heard it before, but I don't know. I put the wrong button in the wrong place. You ever done that before?
Not outside the bedroom.
Oh, you're terrible. Hey, just so it sounds normal here. Everybody's fussing.
Some bad music.
There we go.
Well,
is that better? Is that better, Tolos? I know you're used to your music. I mean, my goodness. I make one mistake and y'all are already sending text. Where's the bad music? Here it is. You happy? Diesel, you informed me during the break that we got to have a strong finish right here. Like just one final push. What do I mean? We've got literally about 5 minutes left, maybe 4 minutes left of the show.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of last Thursday, we had 88 Tolos with their upset picks in. Are we 4 shy?
We're 2 shy.
We're 2 shy.
Scotty from BMW, who just called in, took Vanderbilt over Auburn for 7.5. He was number 86. So if we want to stay on pace with last week, we need 2 more, but we need to beat pace from last week. So we need 3 more of you Tolos to give us your upset pick.
And if we don't, by the way, you pick a game.
We're just gonna cancel the whole competition. Right. Nobody wins.
By the way, you pick a game that's an underdog on ESPN.com. Pick a game who's a team who's the underdog. You think they'll win the game outright? Text your name, the game, and the spread to 71307. Start your text with the word fan. Diesel, on Friday, if we don't get 3 more today, that means tomorrow we'll be asking for what, 15, 20, something like that? Fridays usually aren't the biggest days.
That means we'll be asking for, about 25.
25?
Yeah, we'll need about 25.
I think we can do it. We just need our Tolos. Again, you have like 3 to 4 minutes before we sign off. We need you to come through. And tomorrow, hey, let's do it. Tomorrow, let's have it bigger and better than it's ever been on a Friday. Let's finish strong, Diesel. We got one. Andrew says Vanderbilt +7. We need just put the whole game because Vanderbilt's playing Auburn, right? I think that's right. We'll let it count this time, though, Andrew. Appreciate you listening to the show.
Andrew, I think, is new, by the way.
No way.
And we got a caller coming in. We got Harold calling back in. Andrew, I think this is your first time playing in the challenge before. I think if I'm wrong, let us know because we need to make sure that everybody, if you're sending in multiple picks, week in and week out, make sure you send us your name the same way every time. Don't say Andrew from Simpsonville one day and then just Andrew the next time because we'll think that's a different Andrew.
Glad you're in the challenge, Andrew. Harold, we charge twice. We charge extra when you call in twice. You're going to fork up some money for Diesel and I today?
Yes, I'd like to. First, I want to apologize for putting you and Todd Ellis in the same sentence. That's bothered me so all day, and I just now, I turned over to Carolina calls. Now I'm more disgusted. But listen, I'm gonna give you my pick, and it's really from the heart because I pull for them every week. I'm gonna go with Texas Tech in the points against Iowa State. Don't know nothing about them, but that's in tribute to my dear friend. From he went to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I was stationed with him in the Navy. I got a gut feeling about it. And listen. Okay, I'll call you about Carolina tomorrow if that's okay.
Let's do it.
Right?
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely, Harold.
Thanks, Harold.
Thank you, buddy.
He says I'm more disgusted. I turned on Carolina calls with Todd Ellis. I heard him. Now I'm even more disgusted. Harold's apologizing for putting me in the same. I think you're putting me in the same sentence as Todd Ellis, whether it's good or bad. Hey,
that's South Carolina royalty.
Yeah, DB Diesel says Vandy has 20 picks. Almost hard to beat Navy, which had 26. Does he mean there's already 20 Tolos taking Vandy? Is that right, DB? That is a lot of picks for Vandy over Auburn. There's a lot of belief.
20. Diddy, Boomer Bill, John Corley, Forrest, Hog Dog, Greenville Gamecock, Twisted Whisker, Tolo Steve, Reed Atkins, Ben in Simpsonville, Scotty Mack, Sherb, Brandon from Moore. Man. Jay Waller from Anderson.
Yeah.
Frank Wagner, Joe D, Tron, Scotty from BMW, Andrew, and Bomo have all taken Vandy.
And we've had two more. Make that three more. Bomo, you said it. He just got his in 2 minutes ago. Vandy +7. Logan Simpson, Pittsburgh over SMU -7.5. Logan, good to hear from you. Patrick from Taylor's, Georgia State over UConn.
I like that pick.
+7.5.
I like that pick, Patrick. I watched Georgia State play last week. They can put up some points, and UConn is all over the place defensively. Georgia State can win this football game. UConn,
why are they 7 points?
UConn can't score. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about two sub-500 football teams.
Yeah. Two bad teams.
Yeah,
by the way, only one college game tonight. Did you know that? I thought there was 2 or 3. I was going to do a little parlay earlier today. Didn't get to do that, Diesel, because tonight there's only one game, and it is Tulane and Charlotte. Oh, boy, what a doozer.
So you mean snoozer? Did you just combine doozy and snoozer?
What'd I say?
You said doozer.
No, it's a doozer. This one's a doozer.
Talk to you tomorrow, Tolos.